Hello everybody, welcome back to Spill the Tea Lou. It's Friday, it's 7:30, it's live with Lou and Ash, NUFC. Madness is going to ensue. I have a list of almost 2 pages of things that I would like to talk about. We're definitely not going to get to talk about all of them. So we're going to work our way through however far we get is however far we get. And then we're going to do our predictor and everything else can just be saved for the rest of the time. But I would just like to say, Guess has just sent me pictures of the most fantastic looking cake in the world that I would like a piece of. She's having tea and cake and I'm like, give me the cake. Folks, let me know. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see and hear Ash? Because it looks okay on my side, but when I'm trying to play it on my YouTube, I can't see it. So can everybody see and hear? Oh, well, yes, you can. And guess what, people? I can put the comments on the screen today because we are on StreamYard. So I have a list. We can do, I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's just literally my account won't work because I put it on so I can keep a track of the poll because I can't see the poll in StreamYard. So I have to look at it on YouTube. So I opened the stream on YouTube and my stream just looks like it's trying to load. So I was like, oh no, I was going to say, are we talking? Am I just talking? And all everybody can see is a loading screen. But no, everybody else can see me except me. I can't see. Oh, there I am. Okay, I see it. It's working. We're fine. So I see everybody is in the house. I did see that Wilsey was here earlier. He came in real early to drop a like. He set himself a reminder. So let's see if Wills makes it back into the stream. But he's done his best. Gav was here super duper early. Mama Flossie was in with the spanner, making sure there was no trouble being caused. Rob Always United in the house. Gav is still here. Gab is still here. Marv is here with Champers. Marv has made it out of a work meeting, especially for this. Go on the Marv. Obviously, Guess is in the house, sending me pictures of cake. Boffman is in the house. Everybody's here. Everybody's here. All the fun people are here. So, Ash. It's always slightly concerning when I have a plan because when I don't have a plan, the streams are long. When I do have a plan, they're like mega streams. They're like bumper streams. But I have good news because I haven't eaten my dinner yet. So at some point tonight, I'm going to have to eat, which means the stream will end at some point. Now, I can't make a promise about the time, but it's going to end tonight. So excellent news for everybody. How have you been, Ash? Because a lot has happened since we've seen each other last. A lot. We're going to talk about all of it. But first of all, how have you been?
No, I've been good, to be fair. It's I got to see Newcastle smash a 3-0 victory the other day. So that was great to see from Newcastle's point of view because our form's been all over the shop.
Yes. Oh, we're going to talk about your form. Don't you worry. It's on the list.
And we can very much skip the Wolves game because God, that was a stinker.
It's almost like somebody said in advance of that match that it was going to be a draw, Ash. Can we think who that might have been? Crazy. Chris is also here while we're live. Big up. So you're going to get some spoilers on my predictions for tomorrow. So don't tell the others. But
is Streets here?
Is Streets here? Streets might join. Sometimes Streets misses the start. Sometimes Streets joins us at about 8. But once Streets is here in time for the predictor, because he is going to have to predict Manchester United and Arsenal. Gav.
No one else is allowed.
What do you mean you haven't made the list? What list?
Hey, listen. Hey, Gav, you don't want to be on all lists, so be careful.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the list. When you're on my list, it's because it's a tragedy. There's chaos. Something terrible has happened. You definitely don't want to be on my list. And if you're on Flossie's list, you're getting the spanner treatment. Lads, as you're coming in, I keep forgetting to tell people this. Please like the bloody stream because what it does is it tells YouTube that me and Ash are nice people and more people should come and watch us. And obviously that's true. Please do also vote on the poll. Let me read it out for you. Is it a big deal that Emery pushed Tielemans when he was subbed off? Option A, absolutely. Option B, nah, no biggie. Option 3, haven't seen it. Well, I can't show you. I am going to have a screenshot. I'm going to have images so you can see it sort of. But obviously, I can't play the video because the Premier League are a pack of morons. And the last time when I played a handshake, Ash, I played a handshake and they did me for copyright on our last video. I had to remove the chunk where I showed honestly, a handshake from 2022. And they were like, I'm like, there's no football. They're not even kicking a ball. They're just shaking hands. Honestly. So I can't play it. But if you search it on X, just search Tielemans Emery. A video will come up. It's very, very short. I'll have screenshots, but if you want to have a better idea of it. But Ash, we're going to start because if I don't want to leave it till the end. So we're going to start with Manchester United and Arsenal. And I know Arsenal's at home, but I'm always going to say my team first. So people can just deal with that if they don't like it. Now, I'm going to start with a bit of a sad image. So, as you can see here, this was posted by the Premier League themselves. Thanks very much, lads.
Ollie like packing his bags and walking.
No, look. The only two sides not to lose at home this season are Sunderland and Arsenal. They're unbeaten in 11 home matches. And obviously, where are we playing them? At home, clearly, because where the hell else would we be playing them? But that really is besides the point, because all good things come to an end. And I mean, if anyone's going to break that unbeaten run, I'll put my hand up. We can volunteer.
You say that, but Wolves nearly did that.
Yeah.
When they had
the Wolves can do it, we can do it.
Well, obviously, Arsenal beat them 2-1, but Wolves scored all 3 goals. So,
do you know what I mean?
In my eyes, Wolves won that game.
Do you know what? I would almost agree. See, if we beat them, I'm not agreeing with you. If we don't beat them, I'm giving that win to Wolves. Agreed. Now, the form going into this, now I think form's going to go out the window anyway, but I would just like to read it out for, so I seem unbiased. I'm not even trying. United going into this have 1 draw, 1. Arsenal were win, draw. So they're going in off the back of 2 draws, which obviously means you go win, draw, loss. Clearly, that is the pattern. I mean, you do maths at school and they say, what's the next thing in this sequence? Loss. A big L is the sequence, essentially. Now, you're going to see me scrolling past some things. I'm going to come back to the things, but I'm trying to keep it all organized. No, we need to get rid of that. I'm trying to keep it all organized because if I start jumping from team to team, lads, we really literally will be here for 6 lifetimes. But this is some of the things that we're going to be talking about. So when you see me scrolling really fast, I'm coming back to all these things. It's like a sneak peek at some of the things that me and Ash are going to talk about. And Ash is peeking them at the same time as you guys. So I can see Ash mentally making notes about all the things he's going to have to say. Now, I also see Jay is in the house. Welcome, Jay. I like to see people when they're coming in. I like to say hi. All our friends, Ash. But Mikel Arteta has repeatedly scolded Emery in training with concerns over his attitude and intensity, and he could be sidelined for an extensive period if he doesn't improve. Now, I'm not questioning where the Mail Sport got this information. I am assuming it's true. So, what do you think? We're just believing them.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't see it being. I could very much see that being true. Like, if you take Eze's form, how he's been in Arsenal, it's really been terrible. Like, when you think about it, right? So in the Premier League, he's got 17 appearances and 4 goals. 3 of those goals was in 1 game. It's like, how I see this, it's like, if you have a striker that scores 10 goals in 1 game and plays 20 games and doesn't score another goal, you just say they've had a good game. He's not been that great in every other game that he's been playing. So there clearly is something up. I know there's a massive difference to how he plays Arsenal compared to Palace, but it's going to be very interesting if he's got a bad attitude and stuff at the actual training. So,
Well, Vic, just so you know, Ash, because you've not been introduced to Vic yet, Vic found my channel yesterday. We had a great chat, so we did. And he says, this sounds like fake news. So he is calling fake news on the Mail Sport. He said that he's already not been playing and he's still learning his roles and responsibilities. Now, what I would say, before we go back to you, I agree with you. I think he is certainly not the player that they bought as such. He's not performing at the level he was when they bought him. But I suppose that that goes to Vic's point of saying he's still learning his role and responsibilities. What I would say is he already knows his role because it's the role he was playing before. Potentially the responsibilities are different because when you step from you know, a smaller club as such to a bigger club, it does change slightly. However, what it's saying there is that there's concerns over his attitude and intensity. And while I understand Vic is saying, look, fake news, we can't believe it, blah, 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 the reason I believe it on a serious note is that when I see him on the pitch, there's a lack of intensity. I feel when I watch him, there's a lack of intensity. So what this does is it confirms something I'm seeing. It's not that he's performing unbelievably and then I'm seeing this and I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. This confirms my eye test.
Yeah, I think it definitely does when you put into context, like, and I've been speaking with Arsenal fans and they've been putting out like the number of games that Eze's played compared to how he's been playing in the past. Like he's played more games than what he has under Palace, which has affected his form maybe. But that's just taken so much context away from it because in those games, he's only played half the minutes. So
yeah,
which completely takes that away. And that I guess the fact he's played half the minutes in all the games that he's been in says a lot about it as well. Like there must be something in that. I know obviously Arsenal has a higher line. It's much more difficult to have space. But at the same time I don't always agree with that because you have the likes of Rice, even when Odegaard's fit, they are scoring goals from the position sort of where he would be. So I do think he's not found the form that I think a lot of people would have expected. But he's still a great player, and I do think he potentially could get there. But it does worry me if you hear anything about attitude and intensity because that actually kind of surprises me, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I was surprised when I saw it. If you had said to me, you know, pick a player from the Arsenal team who's maybe has a bad attitude, I wouldn't have picked him. But when I read it, I was like, to be fair, it does match up with what I'm seeing on the pitch. There is a lack of intensity. He's not playing loads and loads a minute. I mean, you don't spend that kind of money to go, well, he's going to be a bench player. You know, the amount of money they spent on him mid-season, they didn't buy him to sit him on the bench. I'm sorry, I don't believe they spent that kind of money, you know, not to be playing him. I just don't buy that at all. So if they're not playing him, obviously there's going to be some rotation. He's not going to play every single minute. But I would expect him to play more than he is, and I would expect his output to be better than it is. And Wills, who obviously is also an Arsenal fan, is saying Eze with a bad attitude. That's news to me. And that's what we're just saying, Wills. It's news to us as well. Wills, Vic is on your team. Vic is an Arsenal fan as well. So we've two of you in the chat this evening.
I think for me,
surprising.
For me, I think everyone would be surprised by that news. But I think when you add context around it, like I said, to the fact he's only been half of the minutes played that he can possibly have. And then he's not been having the goal output and assist output. You could potentially see that maybe there is an underlying reason for it. But we'll see. Anyway.
Yeah, look, it's not, I don't think it's a big massive thing. It's something I found interesting because it surprised me. And then when I thought about it, it made sense. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe other people knew about this and I just was living under a rock. But no, everybody's surprised by this. So it'll be interesting to see because obviously the Mail Sport probably isn't tier 1, But I mean, who is tier one anymore with the English media? To be quite honest with you, it's very hard to know because they're all getting their information from sort of biased sources as such. But it'll be interesting to keep an eye on going forward, because to be fair to Mikel Arteta, he has dealt with that kind of thing before, because when he first came in, there was a kind of a bad attitude with some of the players in the club, and he wasn't shy about dealing with it. I find my ears prick up when I see this kind of a thing, because we've had so many attitude problems at United. So I'm interested to see how it's dealt with at other clubs. Do you know what I mean? Compared to how we deal with things. But that was it. Just wanted to bring it in, have a quick look and see where we were now. That's okay. Oh yeah, I just want to mention this. And I mean, it's going to be literally the briefest mention in the entire world, okay? So this week, people have been talking for some mental reason about Cole Palmer to Manchester United. Apparently he's homesick, he misses Manchester, he doesn't want to go to Manchester City. He's a boyhood, he is actually, in fairness, the only part that was true, he is a boyhood Manchester United fan as far as I'm aware. Like, there's pictures of him as a child wearing the jersey. But it was a nonsense from the get-go. It was clearly untrue. We've bought 20 million number 10s. We've already got Cunha and Mbeumo, who we only literally just bought. And then we have now Bruno is back to number 10 since Amorim's gone. And when he's fit, we've also got Mason Mount. So the idea of us buying a number 10, any number 10, is diabolical. The fact that he would leave Chelsea because supposedly it was in a bit of shambles and he doesn't like the direction, blah, 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 blah. And then he was going to come to United, who were also in a shambles. It was a nonsense from start to finish. So I didn't really, it was mentioned briefly. Someone asked me about it on the show the other day and I basically said, nah. But Ben Jacobs has come out and said, I'm not aware of Manchester United trying for Cole Palmer. It's clear he loved living in Manchester, but it's unclear if there has been a turning point in London where he is now unhappy. Chelsea don't want to sell, obviously, so it feels like a non-starter, and I'd be surprised if United made a move for another 10 following Mbeumo and Cunha signings. And he said that on the United stand today. It's a complete nonsense, but I just thought, let's just address it and get it out of the way. Did you believe, we're going to come back to that, did you believe for a single minute that that we were going to get Cole Palmer by any chance, Ash?
No, I genuinely, I don't understand where some news sometimes comes from. I mean, it happens with like a lot of bigger clubs nowadays. Like, you just get linked with loads of players, and when you just think about it, it's like, where is this rumor come from? Because it like actually doesn't make sense. Like, you've had the whole time. You think about the back end of last season, you guys were putting all the groundwork in for Baleba. Like,
yeah, who I also don't want, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way he's performed this season, he's definitely been underperforming. But it's like, it doesn't really make sense when, like, you think about everything that's come out. You think about who the players you've been linked to. Like, say, even before it was like, say, Conor Gallagher. Now, obviously, definitely isn't going to be that. Yeah. But it's like you're linked with loads of, like, say, box-to-box midfielders, or like eights or sixes that you actually do need. So it's like, they just seem to have come out of nowhere, and I do think it's
literally out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I
don't really understand it at all. Yeah, it probably, like Flossie probably just said there, it probably is just a load of people just saying about it on Twitter as like wishful thinking, to be honest. Because I think basically every Premier League team would love to have Cole Palmer in their team. But yeah, there's no point of having 20 number 10s unless
we need another striker, we need a defensive midfielder, and we need some new defenders. 10 is probably the only position we don't need. We don't need a 10. We need everything else. So honestly, I don't care how good he is. If this was genuinely true and there was anything in it, I'd have lost my mind because it's so nonsensical. It doesn't matter how phenomenal he is. We have 20 million of them. We don't need another one. So shambles.
We were literally in the same boat as this, because this January transfer window, we started getting linked to like Jonathan David, Strand Larson, like loads of strikers. And like there was a rumor that went around that we were trying to sell Wissa. It's like, what? Where are these coming from? I
think Flossie's absolutely correct. I think people say things, and if they have enough followers, people think they know something instead of just actually like looking at it. And honestly, it's just mental. It's mental, the things that people will believe because they see it on the internet. It's crazy. Jared is in the house. Nice to see Jared. But moving on from the absolute insanity that was just never true, I thought this was interesting. So this was Carrick's press conference for the match against Arsenal. And he was asked about team news and he said, I will not tell you the team. Now, he elaborated a little bit and he said, everybody came through the match really well. It's been a good week, a big result, performance, an uplift inside the stadium. We need to keep our feet on the ground. One game does not make you a great team, but it's given us a lot of confidence. He basically said, look, what more can I actually say? But I thought it was very, very, very interesting. He says, well, I'm not telling you the team. I'm not telling you who's fit, not fit. I'm not giving you the details. And I thought it was really, really interesting because this was something that obviously Amram had started to do. I'm not telling you who's back from injury. I'm not telling you who might be out. I'm not telling you if they're going to AFCON. I'm just not telling you, because if I tell you, I'm telling the opposition. And it was one of the things that Amram was doing that I liked. I thought it was highly intelligent. We don't have to tell the media. They can ask us and we can just say, well, we're not telling you. And I liked it. So I actually really liked that Michael Carrick is doing it as well. But I also thought it was interesting because it did start with Amram. And I wonder, is Michael Carrick going to get credit for it when Amram kind of wasn't really? But I like it. I like it as a tactic. Don't tell them anything. They don't need to know. I don't need to know. I'll find out on game day.
Yeah. Well, I just think some things like this, I always think it's a bit of a sort of like non-subject, because to be honest, like the media sit around the training grounds, they get pictures of all the players training, see if you know someone's training and someone isn't, you're kind of going to know if they're going to be fit or not. So I always think these things are, I don't know. I don't mind if say my manager says they are or they aren't. I don't mind Eddie Howe talking about injuries, because then I guess we kind of know whereabouts some players are. But yeah, I don't see a problem in it.
Ash, I put up PFC TV just to say hello. Look at the profile picture. Can you see it?
Haaland?
It's Martinez holding baby Haaland.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I love it. Sorry, that's really made me laugh. I love it, love it. Wills is telling us, Wills has given us a scoop. Apparently, Hincapié and Calafiori might be ready, but Havertz is out still, as far as you guys know so far. I would prefer if Calafiori was still out, personally. If he could just take one more match, because he's been very good for Arsenal this season. Flossie is saying, kind of to what you were saying there, Ash, it was some random on Twitter that said Gordon was going to Arsenal, and some people report this as news. So like, it happens to Newcastle, it happens to everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like on that, we were heavily linked with Rayan, which is a Brazilian right winger. And like, we were incredibly heavily linked to him. And someone in one of his Eddie Howe's press conferences the other day, the journalist asked about him, and Eddie Howe just went, "No, all the rumors are fake," and then just shut it down like that. And it was like we were completely heavily linked to him. And it's it's just rumors, especially nowadays with social media. It just runs.
And that's it. It's nonsense. And like that, actually, the reason supposedly Casemiro wanted it put out there that he's going to be leaving in the summer, like 6 months in advance, is because obviously the rumours were starting that if he played X amount of minutes, he personally had the option to extend his contract. He didn't want all that speculation. He already knew he was going. He basically didn't want to deal with the English media. And he was like, just tell them I'm leaving, because I can't be dealing with them. Now, there's some people saying that the club wanted to put it out there to distract from our absolutely woeful financial figures. There's probably a little bit of both to it. It probably suited the club and it suited him, because the decision was long since made. But Vic is saying, do United fans think that United will park the bus this weekend or try to run with the Gunners? I don't think we're going to park the bus at all. I don't think Carrick is going to park the bus. I don't think he'll be reckless, but I don't think he's going to park the bus in the slightest, no. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans seem to be expecting us to park the bus, and I just don't think we're going to. Jay's agreeing with me. Jay is also a United fan and is saying, I hope not, instead of saying yes, definitely.
It's the only thing about parking the bus, like when it comes down to the quote unquote parking the bus at the Emirates, I don't believe, like including Man United, I don't think you guys will try and park the bus. I think it's the way that the Arsenal plays how they're very high up the pitch. They have a lot of possession. It looks like teams park the bus, but that's just because of how good Arsenal play with the ball. That's not necessarily about parking the bus.
The thing is, as well, it doesn't really matter if you've all the possession if you don't do anything with it. Like, I'm not being funny, but I mean, I would suggest City probably had more possession than us when we played them, and we smashed them, and we could have smashed them by more. I think people have this notion that possession equals like dominance. Not if you're passing it from side to side. You have to be attacking with it. You have to be doing something with the possession for it to be dominant.
Well, that's the thing that I think was so crazy, is like, if you actually watch the Man United Man City game, you wouldn't by the end of the game think that it was like 70% possession for City. You wouldn't have thought that. It's just because of how direct and how good you were with the ball. It's but that's why I said, like, I think if you watch the Wolves game, I think the Wolves had a very, very good solid plan against Arsenal. That they sat Hwang very high up near the halfway line, actually passed like Gabriel and Saliba as the defenders, and just had him running in for counter attacks as pace. I think there's great blueprints you can follow. It's the same with Barcelona. They have a high line. They're very susceptible to counter attacks. It's just the way some managers are. But yeah.
No, look, like that. We'll get into that a little bit more when we get to the end and we're doing our match predictions. It was obviously a few sort of stories there, linked to Carrick, linked to United, linked to Arsenal. So I said, we'll have a bit of a chat about it, but we're not giving our prediction until the end of the show when we do our score predictions. And what I've done this week, lads, because I thought it might be fun, is I have the video where we had our final score predictions last week. And we're going to look at how inaccurate those score predictions were before we do this week's ones, because we have to stop many goals.
No,
we are terrible.
Listen, Lou, this is
going to look so bad.
No, because this is going to look so bad for us. But I'm telling you right now, if you got 100 people in a room and you got 100 people to write down what the results of what they thought this weekend would be, not a single person would have predicted the scores on any of them. Like, this weekend was absolutely bonkers.
It was, but it's really
funny.
The
top three teams didn't win.
Ash, it was really funny.
It's gonna look really bad.
It is, but it's just a bit of fun. But, right, hold on, I read. Vic and Wills and Rob, everybody is going mad in the chat, and we're having a right old laugh at ourselves. What are the people saying? Ray Ray is in the house. Welcome, Ray Ray. Nice to see you. Marv is saying, I think United will play how we played at City, compact at the back and look to counter. Yeah, but United do that. United have done that. Do you know what right? Hold on, Ash. I need to just get this off my chest. Do you see people, right? Ollie was absolutely slaughtered. We played the best attacking football we have done since Fergie under Ollie by a country bloody mile. A mile. We were scoring all over the place. He has a record for most 5+ goal matches. There's loads of records and they're all scoring, okay? And then everybody was like, oh no, oh that's not United, oh we need possession, oh blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I want? Attack, be exciting, score the goals. I don't care if you have 500 million% possession while you pass it to the side, pass it to the back. We're so in control. Okay, but are you scoring before I fall asleep, lads? And actually, Michael Carrick had a touch of the Ollies about him. We were attacking. It was fast. We were passing forward. We weren't waiting for the opposition's defence to reset before we attacked and made a decision where to pass the ball. It was wonderful. I think it's great. I hope he keeps doing it. But people have this nonsensical, and I'm sorry if this is your opinion, but it drives me insane. Oh, it's only counter-attacking football. Well, do you know what it is? Do you see if we're really good at it and we win the matches? Excellent. Keep doing it. Why would you stop doing the thing that works? People are crazy, Ash. Help me out. They're crazy.
No. I mean, obviously there's... I know people want to see sort of like Pep style of play.
I don't.
So, but the thing is, if you go back to Jose Mourinho, are we about to say he was not a counter-attacking manager? Because that's all he really was.
Oh, but that's not very good, Ash. That must mean Jose was a terrible manager. Oh no, you can't play counter-attacking football. You might score.
You just need to know how. It's the thing about good managers. You need to know different styles to play against certain opposition.
Yeah.
Everyone knows exactly how Arsenal's going to set up. So it's about what can we do to beat their style of play. And counter-attacking is going to be the way that you will beat Arsenal.
Yeah. And you know what? Why not? But I don't want to hear this, oh, they just sat back and counter-attacked. Well, if that's what we're good at, if that's our style of play, if our style of play is counter-attacking football, okay, well, your style of play is own goals and corners. All right, then. If it's effective, I don't care. And actually, to be clear, I have not once criticised Arsenal this season for set play goals, for how the only match where I've taken the mickey out of them is the Wolves one. And it's because Wolves beat themselves. Outside of that, I have not once this season on any stream, on any channel, given out about Arsenal and set-piece goals. Because actually, for quite a period, United were joint top of that set-piece goals list with Arsenal. Now, they've overtaken us now. But I mean, I have no criticism of it, because you see, if it's effective, do it. If you like long throws and it's effective, do it. Like, do you know what I don't want you to do is tiki-taka. Side to side, back and forward, side to side, back and forward, until the other team falls asleep and then you can score a goal. See if it's moving the ball and it's exciting and it's fast-paced. You go for it, sunshine. I don't care. And I'm not having it against my team, because I'm not throwing it out against anyone else's. And I would also just like to say, a wee disclaimer from Marv. I know that's not what Marv was saying. It just put it in my head. And that was it. I was gone. I was away. But let's read some more comments, and then we are actually going to talk about some other teams before we get to the predictors. I just feel strongly on this one. Let me see. Rob is saying, I don't think we'll sit back. And see, that's the thing. I don't necessarily consider counter-attacking sitting back. I don't feel like we're 11 men behind the ball. Do you know what I mean? Because it didn't feel like that against City. We were counter-attacking, but we weren't just sitting in and then counter-attacking. And I think there's different ways to play counter-attacking football as well. Once it's not boring, I don't really mind. Let me see. Vic is saying, game on. That's the spirit, Vic. That's what we want. Vic is saying, because City and Liverpool both parked the bus, Bayern and Villa didn't. So it's the kind of contrast for them. The
Bayern one was interesting, because in the second half they definitely did. The first half, Bayern was all over Arsenal, which was kind of interesting. Which I thought Bayern Munich was actually going to destroy them in the first half, but they just weren't clinical. But that was actually a very interesting game. That the good old.
I'm laughing here. A good old Ollie rant. Wills is saying, "Can you design a background for my streams?" Do you know what it is, Wills? What I'm going to do is a real background. I'm going to put some shelves up and get decorations and one of them neon fancy lights and stuff. The problem is I'm lazy. I think it is an option. I think I probably can put a background. My brother told me he was going to buy me a green screen, and I was like, it's all right. I'm going to put like real stuff up. I just genuinely, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I feed the cats, I set up the streams, I finish, I eat, and then I sleep for the next day. Sometimes I play Call of Duty, and I am at some point, it's not just going to be blank. I'm going to put things. I don't know what things, but I'm going to put things. I still have to look for my Roy Keane poster, although I fell out with him now since he's being a bit snotty. Streets is in the house, which means we have an Arsenal score prediction coming up later on. Streets, don't you go anywhere. Marv is saying the problem with United, well, there's plenty of problems with United, is against I know, is against teams that we can't counter against because they play the low block. We don't do well at all. Absolutely 100% correct and right, Marv, but that's Carrick's job now. So let's just see what he does about that. To be fair, I actually think it could be really interesting, because while I very much wanted Ollie back, I was not excited about the Carrick thing. I feel like our problem for years and years and years and years is that we never replaced Michael Carrick. We never got a replacement when he left. So the fact that he's now back, maybe he can teach some of these players how to be him. And if we then solve some of our midfield problems, by the guy who was never replaced teaching his own replacements, maybe we can have a minor miracle. So that's the train I'm on now. I've jumped. I will love Ollie forever, but I have started to move on to the Michael Carrick train. And
it took one game.
Feel like, I know. It
took one game.
Do you know what? Bit of positivity. There's too much misery in the world. I'm on the train. Do you know what? He speaks really well. He does. I'm easy one over, so I am.
I mean, at the end of the day, the way he is and how he talks and everything isn't a surprise because this is how he was as a player. And he always obviously was like an interim manager before. So he's, I don't think he's bad, but I think you're just going to have that problem at the end of the season again, where you're like, is it going to still be Carrick or are you going to try and get this top tier elite manager? That's what it's gonna be.
Oh, we're definitely, if he does anyway, good. If he gets Europe, we're keeping him. Let's not be crazy. I mean, we're definitely keeping him. Have you seen our club, Ash? Have you met our owners?
I know the owners will do that. However, but I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why I'm also on the fence about that, because I thought that because of your owners being your owners, they would have just given it to Ollie. Like, that's why I'm slightly surprised that it was Carrick.
I think the Glazers would have given it to Ollie. I think Ineos were a bit like, we're not getting what we like on social media. We're not giving it to him. I think it was the Glazers would have Ollie back already. 100%. No doubt about it. I think Ineos stepped in there. But Vic is back. Vic has been on fires for 2 nights in a row in the chat, which is fantastic because it's really nice actually, because we often speak about Arsenal, but it's nice to have some Arsenal fans in the chat. And obviously Wills is here tonight as well, because it does give us an opposite side perspective that I don't have at all and I don't want. But Vic is saying, not going to lie, as an Arsenal fan, seeing United beat us so many times the last 25 years, I'm a bit nervous. I think it's actually a statement game if you can have a big win. And I agree with that because there's different age ranges of fans. Okay, and Ash, we touched on this before. So there's different age ranges of fans. But as a United fan, growing up, Liverpool, Arsenal, like Wenger, Fergie, City don't mean anything to me. I don't want them to win anything, but I mean, they don't mean anything to me. To me, Arsenal is more of a derby than City. They just feel irrelevant. I know obviously now they're important and they do big, important things, but like in my head, they're still just City. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be Liverpool and Arsenal for me. And so I completely understand what Vic is saying because I grew up on the wins. I grew up, like that was my kind of childhood, adolescence. So that's what it is in my brain. It's wired that way. Yeah. But like I would refer to it as a derby because to me that's what it feels like. But like as a non-United and Arsenal fan, like because obviously you're Newcastle, so you're sort of neutral because you're just like both of us. Like what is the vibe from the outside? Does it look like, should City be more our rivals from the outside? Do you kind of associate the Arsenal United thing? How does it feel for a rival to both of us?
I feel like the Man United City derby has always kind of been a bit neither here nor there. Like, I just feel like the way that the fan base has kind of gone, you've both got a lot of fans from outside the city. So I think that kind of takes it away from the derby. Like the Newcastle Sunderland derby, like, you know, that's basically straight up fans from those cities. Like, and they've lived and breathed it their whole life. I feel like the Man City Man United derby never really has much venom in that sort of aspect to it. Because again, you don't often normally have a lot of homegrown players anymore. Like you had a period where you did, and now you kind of don't. So yeah, I think a lot of the time that doesn't really go into it. I think you've got more of a rivalry with Liverpool, and I mean, there's obviously stuff with like Leeds and everything back in the day. But yeah, I would say there's probably more rivalry with you and Liverpool than Arsenal. To be honest, what like looking at this from a third party, I don't really see much in the game. I don't think there's going to be really much off the field stuff. I don't think there's going to be much dirty tackles. I think it's just going to be a pretty boring game because it's not really a big fixture. Because like in the way of like a derby, it's not really. I know from you seeing it, you might think it, but I personally don't see this being like a derby fixture at all.
I find that so interesting because obviously, like, you're not associated with either team, whereas like every single United and Arsenal fan I know are so hyped for this match. Like every single one of the ones I've spoken to are like, it's a derby for us. So I just find it interesting as someone who's not associated with either club, how kind of the rest of the league might look at it. Where from the inside, we're all like, this is it.
Well,
you know
yeah,
what
I think from an outside point of view, you're more like everyone else just more looks at it thinking this is a big game because it's like a top 6 teams against the top 6 teams. That's kind of the way it's looked at it. It's not looked at it as like a derby. It's definitely not like Liverpool Everton. It's not like Liverpool Man United. Like I said, you against Liverpool, that's a bigger fixture.
To me, this is a bigger fixture than the City one. Like, I'm absolutely delighted we smashed them. But I mean, this is a bigger match for me than the City one. And it does seem like to be the vibe from both sides, from Arsenal and from, but I do think as well, because I know you're slightly younger than me, and I'm saying slightly, I'm not giving you any more years, but I mean, it's not enough of a gap that like we should have completely different outlooks. Do you know what I mean? It's only a few years. But for me, I think it's just the Wenger Fergie thing. Like, that's what I remember so much was like Arsenal was always a big game. If we're the ones that like see that stupid points difference to keep raving about, if we're the ones that closes that after smushing City, honestly, I'd be buzzed. I'd be so buzzed.
I mean, yeah, there's of course that point to it, the Wenger Fergie, but that was mainly because of the longevity of each of the managers and that they were kind of like, they were the managers that did so much for the club. They were they were proper managers. They weren't head coaches. So yeah, I see it from that point of view. Of course, I did see all of the eras and everything of there. So, but yeah, like I said,
it's just interesting.
Yeah, for me, I'm just looking at this like it's going to be a decent game. I personally, I don't think it's going to be a massive score, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, we'll just see. Wills is saying, sit back or attack. It won't make much difference when we get a corner. And he's put some little laughing faces so it doesn't make me cry. To be fair, as I said at the start of the video, for quite a majority of the season, up till about week 18 or 19, we were joint top of the set piece table with you. So don't give us any corners either, smart ass. But we really do have to talk about other things. Because we are going to come back to, oh my God, there's so many comments, lads. I've skipped everybody's comments. Right. Okay. I'm going to read some of these and then we're going to talk about other things. And then we're going to come back to this. Right. So Streets is talking about Ruben Neves. Happy days. Let's go. Marv is saying Carrick was the secret midfielder. He was the masked midfielder. Wills is saying Maguire is due a good game. You better hope not, because that boy can head the ball. If Carrick is anything like...
Listen, I wouldn't say that. Do you not remember what happened after 30 seconds?
Okay, so 1 versus all of the ones he has scored. I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. If Carrick is anything like Sir Alex Ferguson United, he would attack into Arsenal and take the game to them. Ding-dong trading punches. Otherwise, he will have to low block and counter. I think we can attack, but we can do it intelligently. I think we can try and counter a little bit without just sitting back completely. I think he can do a hybrid. I think he can do a hybrid. I don't think he's just going to sit in and defend for the whole match. I do not see us spending the whole match defending. I just don't. Right. What else? Streets is saying I'm telling the truth. I don't know about what. I always tell the truth. Wills is saying, all jokes aside, this game is like a derby. Form doesn't matter. Anything can happen. So yeah, both sides of the fence. Jay is saying what City means to him is 115 charges. Streets. So all the United fans in the chat are like, City literally is just irrelevant, doesn't mean anything. Wills is a little worried. Wills and Vic are a little worried. I'm counting that as a win. Come on. Right. Oh, Vic has to leave us. But look, he was here for the whole stream last night, and he's seen the big chunk of the Arsenal United match. So hopefully he'll be back with us after we beat them to talk about it. But Wills is still going to be repping here. Let me see. Wills is saying Arteta won't have much data for how Carrick sets out his teams and his tactics. It could be uncomfortable. Also, the kind of untouchable factor, the intangible factor is Carrick understands these games. He understands the meaning of these. He's played in these games. He has been the midfielder. And I just think that's an intangible. You can't
just thinking,
touch that.
I'm just thinking, has Arteta and Carrick actually played against each other? Like in actual football?
I mean, they might have.
I would imagine I would imagine that the timeline probably just crossed. So, but I don't think he was in England.
Yeah, I don't know. I might Google it afterwards. Streets is saying one thing with Amram is that we sorted the set piece problem out. We absolutely did. And if we could have just kept the set piece coach, I would have kept him because we were so absolutely awful and now we're really, really good at them. So I think his name was Carlos. If Carlos wants to stay, I mean, I think we should keep him. Get him back. He was very bloody good. But, right, let's go, Ash, because we've so many other things to talk about. We're definitely not getting through them all. So, the next thing I want to talk about, let's talk about the shove, right? So, hold on, because I literally have to mark this off my list, Ash, because genuinely, there's so many things. It's literally 2 pages. Right, so that bit's done. And that bit's done. And I've literally written down Cole Palmer nonsense. Right, so let's have a little look at Emery shoving Youri Tielemans, and I mean giving him a proper old go. So let's pull this up. I have some stills. Obviously, I can't play the footage because the Premier League are horrible people. So, like, you can sort of see it here, but for anyone who hasn't yet seen it, basically, Youri Tielemans is subbed off. He's walking off the pitch. He goes over, you know the way they normally like clap hands or the fist bump or the high five or whatever. So he's going over to his manager, Unai Emery, to sort of say, you know, give him a high five or whatever. And Emery literally just goes like this, like properly shoves him. I was like, what? And so as he shoved him, obviously you can see Youri Tielemans sort of grabs his coat a little bit, but he literally grabs it and lets go. It's like you wouldn't even, if you watch the video, you don't even see that. But I mean, he like shoves him and he's screaming.
Yeah, he's proper screaming at him. Do you know what I think this is? Do you know what I think I know why this is? Because I've seen a lot of people, like especially like Gary Neville and other players that have spoke about managers that like you hate being on, say, the wing that the manager's on because he's just like screaming and shouting because he wants certain things. I'm guessing during the game, Emery was shouting at Youri Tielemans to kind of press a certain way or be in a certain position, and Tielemans was probably ignoring him. And so I'm presuming that is probably why he was just took his frustration out. Personally, I think it's very weird. I'm not a big fan of it, but I also don't read too much into it because scuffles and fights and stuff do happen all the time. Like,
I think it's absolutely bananas. Now, as most of you know, like I've worked in HR. So obviously football is like quite a unique environment. It doesn't operate like a normal workplace operates. But imagine you go to work, Ash, and your manager, while screaming in your face, shoves you. If I went to work and my manager shoved me, I cannot tell you on a live stream what I would do back because I'd be arrested.
I get it from that point of view. But so I was watching like the rest of football the other day with like Alan Shearer was talking about when in like the 90s he was part of a team where basically what the manager like was screaming at one of the players and they got into like a fist fight in the changing room. And the next day the player came back with his brother and his dad and had a fight with the manager, like proper fist fight. And I'm like, that's the stuff that would actually happen. So I'm like, this stuff to me, I don't think it's that crazy. I did find it a little out of character with how good of a run Aston Villa's been on. And the fact that they still won that game, by the way, they won it 1-0. So it was a bit crazy, this, but
I have a question because I'm going to come to the comments, but I have a few questions I want to ask you on this because I'm actually really glad you're here because I just think it's nuts. I think it's just absolutely off the wall nuts. I think it's mental, right? But I have a question. If Youri Tielemans had pushed Unai Emery while screaming at him, would the attitude be the same? And I don't mean from us, I mean from the world.
No. I think it would even for Villa's point of view. I think the players would even be fuming. I think.
But so why is it okay the other way around?
Like I said, I think it's a bit weird. Like I said, I personally think it's a bit of a strange one. I think it's like if Eddie Howe did that to one of my players, I would have been thinking, "What are you doing?" But yeah, it's a bit of passion. Stuff does happen in the heat at the moment. It's not the end of the world. I always think managers have such a bit more of a protective bubble because, like, if you see like the other team like push your manager or something, like the entire team gets behind them and literally sparks someone out or something. I don't mind stuff like that, but yeah, for me, like I said, it is a bit of a weird one. I wouldn't read too much into it, but
I'm reading all the way into
it. But at the same time,
I'm in the rabbit hole.
But at the same time, Emery's definitely had some interesting things that have happened this season, like when he played against Arsenal with Arteta and he didn't shake
his hand.
Yeah, he ran down
lied.
So, yeah, the lion thing was really weird.
Yeah, because he was like, I waited for him. I wasn't waiting forever. He didn't wait. He literally run down the tunnel.
I know when he said that, it's not like he's being recorded on TV or anything.
Crazy. But it's such erratic behaviour. It's really erratic. And my thing is, if it wouldn't be okay for Tielemans to shove Emery, then it's not okay for Emery to shove Tielemans. In front of the world. Like, they have to go back in to like a dressing room together. They have to go onto a training pitch together. They have to go to the next match together, on a bus together. How can you disrespect somebody so much and then expect them to put in their best for you? Now, I'm sure they're going to have conversations behind the scenes. I have no doubt the club is going to have to say something to Emery about like, what are you doing? Like in public on camera. But nobody's talking about it, though, Ash. Like, I've not seen this on any other channel, none of the big channels, and I can't understand it. It's mental.
Like I said, I think it's one of those things that everyone knows what football players and stuff and managers like. It's a lot of testosterone. Like I can imagine, say, as a manager, if you're standing on the touchline for 60 minutes shouting at one of your players to do something and he's intentionally ignoring you or something, you're probably going to get rather angry at that. So I could see in that respect. But yeah, no, like I said, if I was a Villa fan, I would be thinking it's a bit weird. I would be thinking, why are you doing this? Because you could just shake my hand and let's have an argument. Behind scenes, so that's why it's weird.
In public, it's airing your dirty laundry, and like it just seems to be happening more and more and more and more. Like nobody has any like
Flossie said that. I think he definitely is feeling the pressure. I think
but I mean, if I was feeling the pressure, like I can't just go around hitting people. Like it's just it's literally assault. It's assault.
It is.
You know what I mean?
But at the same time, it's very weird because I don't see why Emery of all managers right now be feeling pressure because he's doing so unbelievably well. No one thinks Villa's going to be winning the Prem, so they don't have pressure on that. They're smashing it in obviously Europa. It's a weird one for me.
Now, I've one more question for you, and then I'm going to go to the chat because I know we've a lot of chats on this, and I know some people hadn't seen it before it was brought up because it's not being talked about, which I also find insane. I find it mental that it happened. I find it really mental that it's not being talked about. I cannot understand it whatsoever. But my last question is, and it's related to the fact that it's not being talked about, it's not being highlighted. There's a lot of people kind of saying, oh, well, it's just Emery being Emery or whatever. For example, I'm going to give examples. It's not exclusive to these managers, but I'm going to give examples. If Arteta did this, if Amorim, when he was at Manchester United, did this, and I have to say, actually think if Pep Guardiola did this, it would be the only thing anyone was talking about. When Guardiola did it with the cameraman's thinger, I thought it was wrong. He shouldn't have touched him, but people talked about it. Yeah. But like, if this was Amorim, if Amorim was shoving, like, if Amorim had shoved Menu like this, if Arteta shoved Declan Rice like this, it's the only thing anybody would be talking about in the media, on social media, on videos. It's the only thing that would be getting talked about. And nobody is mentioning it. So does it show that some managers get away with stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a known thing that certain clubs get a heightened level of media views because of the media coverage, because they know they get clicks from it. Obviously, stuff like this, they'll probably know if they put something out about Emery and Villa, they're probably going to get less attention than something like Man United or Arsenal right now. Like a lot of different clubs are getting a lot of views. So yeah. So that'll be why everyone just, at the end of the day, it all comes down to a business and what gets clicks. If they think this won't, then they aren't going to like just push it, which I think is stupid because they should.
Well, they should, because this should be getting talked about. This should definitely be getting talked about. This should be getting talked about more than Cole Palmer to Manchester United, which is nonsense. Like, how is this story out there and people are talking about Cole Palmer to United? Drives me mental, absolutely mental. But that's why we're here, Ash, to save the day. But I'm going to read some comments because I can see a lot of them coming in. So I'm going to fly through those and then we're going to go to our next topic. And it's another club doing stupid things and another manager that's under pressure. I am having the time of my life because none of these incidents involve my team. We are going to talk about your team. Don't worry, it's on the list. But this one was really interesting. So, Streets is saying, very strange behaviour. There has to be respect from both parties. 100% correct. Flossie is correct. Emery came out and said, he's my son. It's nothing. So, the explanation was just as strange as the action because he's not your son. He's your employee. So, Wills is delighted. Yes, let's talk about Emery. People are seeing why we being Arsenal, didn't give him more time. When under pressure, he makes weird decisions and gives no explanation. And I would add to Will's statement that when he does give an explanation, it's worse than the actual non-explanation. Streets is saying, Tielemans is a human, not a robot. Shouldn't be happening. Flossie is saying, if a manager had done that to her, he'd be in hospital. I agree. Jay is encouraging Flossie. Let me see. Tielemans. Streets is saying Tielemans should leave out of self-respect. Wills is saying, I should read these before I put them on the screen because I don't know what Wills might be writing here. I heard Emery was mad at Tielemans because... Right. I heard Emery was mad because Tielemans, when he was subbed off, he ran off the pitch instead of walking and wasting time. That's the rumour. So because he comes straight off the pitch instead of doing that stupid slow walk and wasting time, which, I mean, it's entirely possible that that's true. Obviously, none of us know, but it's possible that that's true, which is crazy. Ray is saying, Tielemans didn't seem too affected by it. Their relationship could allow that behaviour. I think he didn't want to make it because he just walked off. I would imagine he didn't want to make a bigger scene. But I can't imagine anybody in their workplace is okay with being pushed. And since it's come out, Emery's put out a load of statements on why it happened and different explanations. But as far as I know, Tielemans hasn't said anything, which tells me he's not okay with it. Because if Tielemans didn't mind, he'd have already put something out saying, oh, it's a storm in a teacup, doesn't matter. So I think he tried to play it off without making it a bigger deal. Ray is back and agreeing with you, Ash. Yes, true, Ash. Emery has been losing the plot for a few weeks, shaking hands at Arsenal, awkward silence in the Everton post-match. Very true. I forgot about the Everton one. And now this. So he's definitely unraveling. And as you say, he shouldn't be under that much pressure. So imagine because he has been linked to Manchester United, for example, after Amram was done.
Well, actually, to be fair, I feel like this, it comes down to a comment that I saw before about, there was someone mentioned about him when he came out and said that they won't reach top 5 or something with this squad.
Yes.
Which I think it all comes down to the same thing. I think Emery's been slowly losing it because in summer he didn't get backed. They didn't buy anyone. They're not buying anyone now. I think he may be actually losing it a bit because of the board. Actually, I think it's more to do with the owners. So I think it's kind of stuff like this is kind of coming out because he's pushing back against that stuff. Literally. So yeah, I think he's getting very annoyed with that because, I mean, as you would, like, you think how good Villa's doing, like, he probably is a bit annoyed because he's thinking, right, I could have got second from the last game. we could be in second right now, and you've not backed me. You've not bought any players in. Just think if you did, we could be challenging for this Premier League right now. He's probably angry at that stuff because he's looking at the likes of Arsenal. He's got obviously sacked at Arsenal, and Arsenal's backed Arteta, and look where they are. They're the top of the Premier League and the Champions League. So he's probably annoyed in that sort of way as well, because he's probably seeing that like, look what I can do with a squad not being backed. So yeah,
I would recommend some meditation or yoga rather than pushing the players you do have. Would be my solution to that. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to belt through these comments. I'm going to end the poll, because obviously the poll's about this, and then we'll go to the next one. But I do think he's under pressure. I do agree with you. It's probably from other things, and it's coming out in this way. But I also think, well, the same way as footballers are responsible for their limbs, he's responsible for his limbs, and you just can't put them on other people. Streets is enjoying this thoroughly and says Emery's on fraud watch. Guess with a good point. It's funny how we accept all sorts of things in sports and art, especially if people are good at it. Because if this was just in a normal job, he'd be sacked. You can't just assault people. So it just goes to show. And Ray, this made me laugh. The touchline police, the celebration police, and now the shove police. Now, I'm not in favour of the celebration police. They can get in the bin. Yes, I will be the shove police. That's not okay. Streets is saying Emery's real self coming out there. It seems the same guy who refused to shake Arteta's hand after the 4-1 game. Why should we respect this man, to be honest? So there's a lot of people not feeling Emery at the moment. Jay says, if it was our manager, it'd be all in all the papers and on the TV. Absolutely agreed. Flossie is saying Brian Clough used to whack his players and that was never spoken about. I do also think it was very different times. I mean, the way Fergie operated wouldn't be allowed now either. You can't throw football boots at people. There's health and safety. The way we play on the pitch
accidentally,
and the way we play on the pitch has changed. And the way we have to operate off the pitch has changed as well. Do you know what I mean? So while this back in the day wouldn't have been talked about, because at the time it would have been seen as completely normal. It would have been seen as nothing. Whereas I think now, in the world we live in now, I just don't think it is acceptable. And I think a lot of things that were previously accepted aren't and shouldn't be anymore. What else? And Ray is saying, maybe Emery is looking at the manager merry-go-round and looking for an opportunity. Lots of big clubs are looking this summer. And I mean, he wouldn't be the first manager to try and get sacked this season. To be fair, I don't think that was his intention. I genuinely think his temper boiled over and he just didn't contain himself. Yeah, just mental. But we're going to end the poll. Is it a big deal that Emery pushed Tielemans when he was subbed off? 29% of you have said absolutely. 41% of you have said, nah, no biggie. And at the time, 29% of you hadn't seen it, which is fair enough. So we're going to assume all of you would have just said absolutely. That's what we're going with. Flossie is saying she never would have made it in hockey. Hockey is physical. I love it, but it's very physical. So the next thing that I want to talk about, Ash, will we go to Newcastle next? Do you want to talk about Newcastle next? Are you ready? Are you built up for it? Are you feeling like you can?
Yeah, sure.
Right. I don't know, because obviously I know you'd be busy in the evenings at the start of the week. So I don't know if you saw my stream yesterday, but Newcastle are joint top of a certain table. That table is the team with the most 0-0 draws in the Premier League this season. You are joint top with 4 0-0 so far in the Premier League this season. So I was curious, did you know that? Because I was surprised by it. And what do you make of it?
No, that doesn't surprise me, because I know the start of the season we were having quite a lot of draws as well. Like I remember, like the Villa game at the very start of the season, that was a 0-0. We were all over Villa, but we didn't have a striker or anything to win the game. So I wasn't surprised. I'm not surprised by that, to be honest.
I was shocked.
I'm not, because we are very different between home and away. Away, our record is absolutely piss shit. So the fact that we're getting draws and all stuff like that really just isn't a surprise to me. Yeah, like I said, we're two completely different teams, home and away. I don't know why our away form is so shocking. We just can't seem to string some games together. Obviously, I'm just trying to think of the 0-0s in my head. There was the Bournemouth 0-0, the Villa at the start of the season 0-0. These are all away games, actually.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Wolves game. I can't think of what the fourth one is. There was 0-0.
It didn't list them. It just had a list of like the top teams. It was you. I actually can't remember who the other top team was. I know Sunderland and Villa, I think, had 3 each as well. You guys had 4, and there was another team with 4. And I literally only spoke about it yesterday, and I cannot for the life of me think of who the team was. I wonder if I can.
It was Leeds. It was we again another away game. There were all away games actually. That's interesting. 4 away games, all 0-0. So I mean, when you put it in context, that's actually not too bad. You go away, get draws. I don't think that's the end of the world, but I think that's. Yeah, I think we're lacking quality going forward. That's what we were doing. Our 0-0s were further towards earlier on in the season, so I'm not too bothered by that.
And how did you feel overall about the 0-0 with Wolves? Because I know Wolves are bottom of the table, but I have said consistently, and you have actually agreed for the most part, for weeks now, Wolves are better than they've been showing. I said that I thought that they would draw with you. You obviously were not feeling that at the time, but I mean, I wasn't surprised that you drew with Wolves, and I don't think it's necessarily an indictment of Newcastle, to be honest, because Wolves have been very, very good.
No, I'd agree. I mean, we definitely deserve to win the game. Like we were very much the dominant team. It was. Look, I said I was unsure going into this game because of how. Like I said, I was at the Villa Wolves game, and Wolves was actually the better team for most of it. They scored, had a disallowed goal, and then Villa ended up scoring later on that game to make it 1-0. It was. I've seen they've been on a recent good bit of form. Like just before us, they won like 6-0 or 6-1 or something. I know it was in like the FA Cup or what against a bad team.
Here,
but
6 goals, 6 goals, isn't it? I take 6 goals.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Grimsby beat us.
Yeah, well, but that's why I was worried about playing the Man City, because I know it was like 10-1 against Exeter, but it still gives your team like confidence. It brings a spark to your team. So I was on the fence about this game. I did think we had enough to win. We were by far the better team. Like Wolves were never going to score. Like we should have scored, but it is what it is. I will not, as long as we didn't lose to them, I'll take a 0-0. It's
yeah, no, I don't. I have to say, I don't think a 0-0 to Wolves is a bad result. I think Wolves have I think they've been far better. And it was it Streets there was saying that Burnley have been very lucky. Yeah, so Streets was saying that he'd argue Wolves are a better team than Burnley. At the minute, so would I. And actually, what I'm trying to find here is I had a little. Guess what? I had something on my X. Honestly, I need to be banned from this site. I genuinely shouldn't be allowed on it anymore. Right. So there you go. Premier League. I just stalked the Premier League. After losing their first 7 matches under Rob Edwards, Wolves are unbeaten in 5. That includes their first win of the season against West Ham, defeating Shrewsbury 6-1 in the FA Cup, and 2 clean sheets. So when you look at it like that, draw, win, draw, win, draw, I mean, their form has drastically improved. And even some of these losses were like Arsenal and Liverpool and stuff. So it's not what it looks like, if you get what I mean. So I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think it's that bad, being honest with you. But what I also wanted to share, I've swapped it too fast, Ash. I saw this. Now, you mentioned something about Anthony Gordon and scoring and attacking and stuff to me before. And I'll be honest, it didn't stick at the time. And then I saw this. And I was like, Ash told me about this. But when do you know when you see something in front of you? And the way it's phrased, it's been over a year since Anthony Gordon scored a league goal from open play.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Is that a big thing for you as a team? Like, does that impact you guys drastically?
So, obviously, it's been a massive issue. But so when you actually look at in the Champions League, he's got 6 goals. Like in the Champions League, which is crazy. Like he's the 3rd top scorer in the Champions League. Where like there's only Mbappe's on 11, Harry Kane I think's on 7, I think off the top of my head, and then Gordon's below him on 6. So it's like he is, and if you actually look at Gordon,
score.
If you actually look at Gordon's metrics, he's actually, when he was scoring for us, and how he is not scoring, he actually has the same underlying metrics. He's just been a bit unlucky, and I've noticed. I think he's been doing it a lot more crossing instead of being going as direct as what he used to be. Like he used to cut across into the box and shoot. Now he kind of cuts down the line a bit more and cross. So I'm not personally worried about this, to be honest. I think if he wasn't scoring in the Champions League, I would be a bit more worried because there's a problem there. I think if he carries on playing the way he is, he will start scoring. It's not a worry at all.
It just, when you see it, it looks like a drastic statistic, like it looks, but I don't know how key he is for you as a goal scorer. So for example, when Bruno was pushed back into being a midfielder instead of a 10, we noticed a massive difference in the level of goals we're scoring because he is so important in terms of the number of goals we score. I didn't know how much of an impact it would have for you guys, like if he was scoring versus the fact that he's not.
Yeah, well, you think about our Champions League game against PSV 2 days ago, he scored an open play goal. So like I said, these stats in the Premier League look really bad, like they do. But like I said, he just needs to carry on playing the way he is and he will start scoring. He's just been a bit unlucky. I personally, he's now had a haircut, so I think that's going to make all the difference because whatever the hell... I am not even joking, right? He literally looked like flipping Krusty the Clown from Simpsons. Like someone did a side-by-side image of them, and he looks like a spitting image. It was actually slightly worrying. But yeah, he's actually decided to go down to flipping to Whitley Bay and bring out £10 and get himself a trim. So yeah, he's
new haircut. Who dis? He going to start scoring. Ray is saying in the chat, all forwards have been struggling for over a year in the Premier League. It's just because the Prem has become so defensive. And I think that has to at least be factored into it.
Do you know what Ray's saying there is actually it's very, very true because people also haven't realised Saka's also been on a massive rut of like goals over many, many months as well. It's just it's the way it goes.
And Wills has added to that point, which I think it's kind of an extension of what Ray said. Teams are more worried about losing than actually trying to win.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that. And I think it's what Vic was saying to us earlier. Is United going to sit back because they're afraid of losing, or are they going to try and win the game? I think under Amorim, we would have sat back and been worried about losing. I think under Carrick, we'll try and win. And I think that's a really, really, really good way to put it. So between Ray and Wills there, they've got a really good point. And I think it applies across the board to the whole league. But on top of maybe some players not scoring at the levels that you would prefer them to be scoring at in the Premier League, you have been struggling with injuries. So I'm not just going to rip you apart and give out about all the bad things. You also have been struggling. So the most days lost to injuries in the Premier League so far in the 25-26 season, Newcastle United have lost 640 days to injuries, which is drastic. There were 3 teams with over 600. Like, that's a lot.
So the Spurs one for me, it's a little bit out of context, that one, because Spurs have had some injured players from like the last season and stuff. Like you've had
from 24, 25. Okay.
You've had like Basuma, he's been injured the whole time. Maddison played against us in preseason and got an ACL. He's not touched the pitch. So like some of these players, they've had injuries that have grown into now. Whereas us have kind of all been more or less from this season, apart from obviously Johan Wissa, which got his injury in DR Congo before he even touched grass at St James's Park or even at training ground. He didn't even get to the training ground before he got injured. So love that. So it's definitely been an issue because the main source of our injuries has actually been our defence. Which, when you actually put that into context of all of those minutes, all those days have basically been in our defence alone, it's slightly worrying. Yeah, it's.
I'm listening to you, but I'm also listening to Will's call me a savage. I'm taking it as a compliment.
Yeah, this is the league that we're top of, which is absolutely.
Well, you're also top of the 0-0 league. There's 2 leagues you're top of.
Yeah, to be fair, right? When we drew 0-0 to Bournemouth, they were like second or third in the Premier League. So I'm not that bothered about that.
No, but that's a lot of injuries, and I know a lot of people have spoken this season because Arsenal have had a lot of injuries. The thing is, Arsenal have a squad deep enough to deal with the level of injuries, but I did see they are third on 603 days missed. So they're, in fairness to Wills and Vic, who've been in here, they're not making up the injuries. They're definitely getting a lot of injuries and more than most other teams. But I've heard more about Arsenal's injuries than Newcastle's, considering you've had 37 more days of injuries than them. And your squad is definitely not as deep.
No. So just to put in context, Johan Wissa was out for 114 days. So that's a sixth of that injury. And that was an injury that was caused from flipping international breaks. So that wasn't even anything to do with us.
Well, you know my feeling about international breaks, ban them.
Yeah.
So well, I'm on board with that.
I mean, they're doing one good thing into next year, that they're making it one less international break. So that's going to be good. They're only having 2 international breaks during winter time. So that's something, I guess, that's better at least. But yeah, like obviously, like you saw, like Dan Burn got his chest bushed in, flipping had broken rib cage and punctured lung. Yeah, it is what it is. It's what happens when you've got 3 centre backs that are 34, 35 years old. We've got some aging defenders. They need to be on Zimmer frames. It's like Fabian Schär put out a picture against our 3-0 win against PSV, and he's there with like a cast and everything on his leg. We're falling apart in our defence.
Yeah, and given that your players, for the most part, like you have kind of a higher average age, you have a lot of older players. Obviously, the older you get, the longer it takes to kind of recover from those injuries. So when you have the like of Dan Burn, who's maybe not a spring chicken anymore, it's going to take them longer to recover from some of the injuries that they're getting than, say, a team that has much younger players in it.
Speaking of, actually, Dan Burn, fun fact, he's actually had his first full day of training today. So, yeah, so he's going to be back probably ready for a game next week, I would imagine. So that's good news at least. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, our right and left back, we've always had injury problems with Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall. They've had recurring injury problems, whether it's to their knee or to their leg, and then Fabian Schär. Sven Botman's also another young player that we've actually just signed a new contract with, who's also had injury problems. It's genuinely, like, if you look for our team, it's mainly our defence.
Remember we looked at the graphic last week. Was it like 7 defenders or something you had? I'm pretty sure
we
7
had
defenders.
We had like 8 injuries and 7 of them were in defence.
We have Mohammed in the chat. And Mohammed wants to know why would a football team, Newcastle, worry about injuries to their players that they need to play football? Because apparently Eddie Howe has no expectations. Mohammed, you are new to the channel, my wee friend. And so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just going to let you know right at the start. This is quite a relaxed channel. You're more than welcome to be here. Bit of fun, bit of banter, bit of crack, absolutely no problem. But we don't take that kind of nastiness that's sort of hidden as banter. So
first of all, I do want to know what team he supports, though, because that could also sway things. Depends on who he supports.
Potentially. Now, like that, Mohammed is more than welcome to be in the chat with us, but we're pretty chilled, we're pretty relaxed. It's a nice little corner of YouTube where we all get along, even where we're rivals. So I've just let Mohammed know because he's new into the chat. We let Vic know yesterday. More than welcome to come in and have opinions, have a chat, have a bit of crack, a bit of banter. But it is just a bit of banter. It's relaxed, nice, relaxed flow. So just
I mean,
get in your chill zone.
On that, it's not necessarily about Eddie Howe having expectations. Our owners clearly have expectations because they bought the club. They've said openly that they want to be challenging for the Premier League within 10 years. what are the expectations for Newcastle? Well, this is what I was just getting into.
That's a much better question. You've teed him right up, Mohammed. You've teed him right up.
When we got taken over by the PIF, Amanda Staveley and everyone came out and said our expectations is to be challenging for the Premier League, which is why we're looking at buying a £200 million training ground. We're looking at buying a new stadium to improve our revenue. We're obviously being in the Champions League 2 out of the last 3 years. Our expectations is to get Europa League, to get European football every year. We need it. If Eddie Howe does not get European football, that's a big problem because that's how you start losing your players. So there is expectations on Eddie Howe.
It's how you end up with revenue figures like Manchester United, where you're declining year on year, even though you've one of the biggest fan bases in the world, because you've managed to drop yourself out of Europe and then all the other competitions afterwards. So yeah, I would say injuries are important when you don't have a big, massive squad like Arsenal, because Mohammed is an Arsenal fan. So now we've come to the crux of it. He's an Arsenal fan. He has 20 million good players. When he has to sub on a player because they're injured, he's got another good one lined up. Teams like you and me, Ash, we don't have that. If we get injuries, we're buggerooed.
Yeah. Well, it's like, the issue is it's like expectations all come from where you are in current times. Like if you're Spurs right now, they don't have expectations of finishing in the top 4. No. But that's because of how they are currently. But doesn't if they,
and we're getting to them. They're on my list.
Are they?
They're on the list.
But no, but that's what I'm saying is, so you say what players will accept these expectations. If we're consistently getting Champions League football, we're improving our squad, which then will lead to us eventually challenging. Players will accept that because that's the pitch that you give them. That's what the vision that your sporting director and everything gives them when they come to them to get them in. I mean, like what Flossie's saying there, as a Newcastle fan, I expect my team to perform to the best ability, which is true. That all comes back to the philosophy of our club, I guess, of under like, say, Kevin Keegan and everything, the entertainers. All we demand from our team is high intensity football with the ability to show that you're trying every game. And if they don't want that, then we don't want them at our club. It's a simple thing. You want a player that's going to fight for your badge. Same with Man United.
I'm curious about this one, Ash. Mohammed says he would argue that Newcastle haven't spent well.
Okay.
I don't know enough about your transfers to say it, but I would suggest maybe, like, how much did Wissa cost you?
Wissa cost like 55 million. Like, so this is
one
thing.
So he can't predict the injury he's had, but he then missed a huge chunk of this. So I would suggest United don't spend well at all. But when we paid for Mason Mount, so he was going to be free the following summer, but we paid mad money for him. And then he spent most of the season injured. So we paid for him to have him for that one season that he was injured for. So to me, we spent really terribly because we could have just waited for that season and got him. So what do you think of this argument that Newcastle haven't spent particularly well?
For me personally, the first thing I'd want to know is, who are you saying is a bad signing? Because if we're going from, say, PIF, we got the likes of Alexander Isak. We just sold him for 130 million. Quite clearly, that's a good expenditure. It got us a trophy as well. We've if you look through our team, we haven't really spent a lot except for in the summer that's just gone. And that was because we kind of had to, because the players we were losing with the likes of Isak and stuff, we've now got to reinvest in the squad. Malik Chow, someone that we bought in the summer, probably one of the best defenders in the whole of the Premier League this season. If you go through, say, obviously, Jacob Ramsey, he was someone that had an injury when he first came to us. He started to pick up form. Great player. Voltemada, one of our most expensive signings.
But he's been so good.
He's been sensational. And he's one for the future. He's only 23 years old. So, yeah, of course. But then you could maybe say Anthony Elanga. That's a potential. But the thing is, if I said to you that he had 19 goal contribution last season and he's just had like nothing this season, that's not a bad buy. He's just had a bad season. He's flopped a bit. He's had some injuries, but yeah. But I mean, it's
Mohammed's come back. So I feel like Newcastle have stalled in terms of the process. Oh, Mohammed, don't worry. We've spoken about the word process on here. It's a safe word. It's okay. Do you feel you're where? I actually, to be fair, I'm going to stick up for Mohammed here because he's outnumbered there in the chat. He's outnumbered. Everybody's sticking up for Newcastle. What I will just say,
no. What you're saying is perfectly fine.
I think that's it. I think that's more the point. And I think that's probably what he was trying to get at in the initial comment, but this explains it better for us, I think.
No, so me personally, and I feel like a lot of Newcastle fans and the club 100% agrees with this, but there's a big reason because of that. I don't think any of us thought Isak was going to be going. I don't think that. I think he leaving really stalled our process. I think that's the issue there. So we've had to kind of adapt in that respect, and we ended up missing out on a lot of our transfers, which because we didn't have the sporting director.
The swing of things quite quickly. Mohammed is a fast learner. He took the notes and he was like, I know. I have questions. Marv is agreeing with Mohammed. For the squad they have, Newcastle should be a lot higher in the table, which again is fair, but then we probably go back to the 640 days of injuries then, I think is where you end up. And not just the number of injuries, but who the injuries were to, I think is important. But Flossie was saying just about sort of fingertips where you need to be. But yeah, I think that's an interesting one because I spoke about kind of the process, the project thing in terms of Chelsea. So I find it interesting in terms of Newcastle. And obviously everybody's aware that you guys have all of this money that you actually can't spend. And I saw a really good comment and I want to find it. It was after Volta Messi. Who put that comment in? Where did it go? Somebody tell me if you're the person that said this. It said, if any team is inevitable, it's Newcastle. And I can't see who said it. But somebody said that. If any team is inevitable, it's Newcastle. Ray said, why did Newcastle sell Isak? The owners don't need the money. Is there an FFP or wage structure issue? I think the issue was the drama surrounding him. He didn't want to be there, so you don't want to keep a player that doesn't want to be there. And it was Ray. I was quoting Ray. It was Ray that said that earlier. So he's claimed it.
so on what Ray said there about why we sold Isak. That wasn't up to us. So regarding FFP and wage structure, yes.
The race structure.
we actually have broke our wage structure since we've been taken over, and we've slowly been improving that to keep players in. But the main thing about Isak, what he actually wants is trophies, and that's why I didn't have a problem with him wanting to go to Liverpool, because what he wants to do is to win all the competitions. And where we are right now, we are not going to be challenging for the Premier League, and we're not going to be challenging for the Champions League. So for him to go to Liverpool, I don't think that was a problem. I think that was a good point. A team that just won the Premier League, and they bought Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, like all these crazy signings they did in the summer. It just shows his ambition.
Well, do you want to see, speaking of Isak, since he's come up naturally, this isn't where I was going next. Alan was actually now here this evening. We'll have to see. We'll maybe see Alan in the comments afterwards, because I'm going to Liverpool next. But yeah, I wasn't going Liverpool next, but it's come up quite naturally. And so when we speak about the team that Isak has gone to, can I get this on the screen? Isn't this a wonderful stat? Liverpool FC become the first ever Premier League champions to fail to win all their home games against the newly promoted clubs.
I tell you what, his head gets shinier and shinier every picture I look at. Like, every time I see Slot's head just getting more and more waxed.
Self-care. Do you know what I think? He's lost weight. I saw him in his press conference there. It was today, yesterday. I saw him in a press conference like in the last few days, and he's looking real, and I don't mean like ill he's lost weight. I mean he's looking real trim. He's looking after himself. Bit of self-care. He's minding
do you know why? It's because he's been showing Isak what to do to get his fitness back. That's why. He's been in the training room, like trying to get his leg back together. But to be fair, He's crazy.
The chat are loving it. I knew the chat would love this.
The issue is, right,
Everybody's
I'm so scared though, because we're about to play Liverpool, and I'm like, we seem
Ash,
to keep on.
Don't let them back into it.
I just know what's going to happen.
Mohammed is saying, I think Slot shouldn't be embarrassed with that stat. Leeds and Sunderland have been on it. To be fair, Mohammed is being very fair, because normally for the last few seasons, it has been 3 up, 3 down. This is the first season in quite a while where the promoted teams have actually been decent. What I'm not letting him away with is Burnley.
Yeah, no, the Burnley one,
because it's not that he hasn't won. He hasn't won any of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so I'm not letting them away with Burnley.
I guess obviously the crazy part of it is it's at Anfield. That's the crazy thing, because before Slot, it was like the stat was like 98 games or something, like 98 games or something, like unbeaten, like at Anfield. It was like crazy. And then now they're just getting slapped up. They even lost to bloody PSV at Anfield. So yeah, it's a weird one. Listen, Jay, you say don't be scared, but for some reason we're the team that people that people play that will go away and will be shit. We got spanked up by flipping West Ham 3-1 when like we just drew to Wolves 0-0. Like, come on, man.
Yes, Wells failed to win all their home games. So all of them were at Anfield. It gets even better. It does get even better. Now, speaking of, I saw a different thing. There's another Liverpool thing I want to share now. What I want to do, see, because I keep scrolling and then I feel like I'm spoiling it. I have so many good things to share and then I scroll past them and I'm spoiling it for you. But I have another good Liverpool one. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Have I lost it? Have I written it down? Lads, honest, I can't be left on my own. Where did Liverpool go? Yes, there was a thing on Sky. People might have seen it. Where did it? It might have been a while ago. Scroll. Aha, I found it. Don't worry, people. I've got it. It's back. So this one is almost as good. So this is the 17th of January, okay? And as you can see, they're on the TV discussing this incredibly seriously. Very seriously. Could Salah's return, obviously from AFCON, disrupt the Liverpool momentum? Now, Laurie here was questioning what momentum? 4 draws in a row, including Burnley and Leeds at home, and still struggling against Wolves and 9 men's Spurs. What momentum are they talking about? And I did have to say, that seems like they're just trying to cause trouble. Because what do they mean? Could Salah disrupt this unbelievable momentum of 4 draws in a row?
I will say Salah has been absolutely stinky this season. I don't think
momentum.
I know. First of all, that's crazy that about momentum. I mean, they had this season is just so mad to me. Like, they went through so many wins, then just lost like 9 out of 12, and then started winning again and drawing. It's like they are the most ups and downs. They're literally a roller coaster of a team this season. Salah coming back, I think, is only going to do worse. Like,
well, to be fair, Wills has suggested maybe they meant the downward momentum.
I think if that is the case, I think he's going to help that, because he has looked not good at AFCON. I'm going to be honest. Like, I was very surprised.
Streets is saying Salah has lost his footballing ability for real. That Salah 1v1 miss versus Marseille. Now, Streets, we're going to have a 1v1. Do you remember when Jamie Carragher said about Casemiro, leave the football before the football leaves you? And Jamie Carragher looks like an absolute idiot. So I am just going to state that this is not the opinion of Spill the Tea Lou. This is the opinion of Streets, and his opinion only. Because maybe it's true, but I'm not going ahead of myself.
Yeah. I don't think he's lost any ability. I think he may have lost some pace, which could be true because his age. I think he's just lacking confidence, to be honest.
I do think he's been dreadful. I think he's been dreadful this season, and I think he's egotistical. But I'm not convinced yet that he's lost it. And Streets would also like to clarify it was a joke. He didn't mean it. It's not true.
He's lying.
Mean it. Now, what I want to say, where did I see? Mohammed had a question for us. Please give your theory for Slot's journey into the Twilight Zone. So I'm not going to go in detail because I've done a full video on this, Mohammed, which you might actually enjoy. But first of all, he's Dutch and bald. They don't do well in the Premier League, a la Erik ten Hag. We've had a bad experience with bald Dutch, so out. I think it's actually just they shouldn't be allowed in the Premier League. They should be banned. Second of all, I don't think he won the Premier League. I think it was the momentum from Klopp. I think it was the team from Klopp. And I think it was primarily the tactics from Klopp. And I think the minute he tried to do anything himself, it went in the bin. So I don't think he had a journey to the Twilight Zone. I think he was already there. And what we saw was an oasis in the desert, an optical illusion provided by Klopp, which has since disappeared.
I think I've always said this, I think what it all comes down to is Salah. What Salah did last season was absolutely an unbelievable one-of-a-kind season that completely carried... Well, he didn't carry Liverpool because other players did have very good games, but his numbers was absolutely sensational. And you see the difference it has when they didn't have Alisson for some games. Salah's form's completely dropped. They've not had a set starting lineup. Like the forwards are constantly getting rotated. Wirtz has needed time to settle in, which he has done now, to be fair. He started to get some GA.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Yeah, so look, and I think the biggest problem Liverpool's had that Slot has not dealt with is the Ekitike and Isak situation. Ekitike came in, started smashing goals, and then what did he do? Shoved Isak in there. So it disrupted the front line. So they've not had a constant front line, but that's been bad management from Slot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big problem, and that's been a main reason why they've been in the Twilight Zone for the past year plus. But it's been sugarcoated with how good Mohamed Salah's been.
Well, now that we've got that. I just thought it was a bit of fun. I couldn't resist.
Marv is asking the real questions there.
I'm going to jump into the comments. So I'm going to run through everything, answer Marv, and then we're on to the next one. Because, lads, I'm starting to get starving. And we still have to do predictions. So, yeah, I am. I'm Marvin. So I'm going to do these. And then I think what we might do is there's one or two other things I want to get your opinion on because it'll be kind of quicker. And then I think we might have to save some of them because my stomach you're just going to start hearing like, grrr. And honestly, big bad, big hunger. So where did we... Flossie has told you Geordies are scared of no one and you just sort yourself out, Ash. Get it together, man.
The problem is I completely agree with her, but that's the issue is I'm not scared of Liverpool. I'm scared of what the hell we do when we're away. It's ourselves that are the issue.
Now, let's see. Link. Mohammed, I'll throw a link in the description and I'll also obviously have Ash's channel linked as well, Ash NUFC. Flossie's going to see if she can find it. Excellent. Even better. Love it. Being Dutch is enough to fill in the Prem. Ash, would you say Ten Hag did better than Slot because his head was more shiny? I would actually argue Ten Hag is better than Slot because what Slot did was took the momentum of another manager and the minute he tried to do anything, it fell apart. Erik ten Hag did some decent things by himself. He didn't come in. There was definitely no momentum when he came in. We were not having momentum. So he came in with zero momentum. In fact, our momentum was backwards. And actually, he also played a lot of our youth players. A lot of the players that we're now using, he brought in. So while Ten Hag was completely dreadful, I think Slot had the benefit of Klopp's momentum. And I actually think if it was a straight shootout, Ten Hag is better. I might be slightly biased.
Slightly.
Ash, the question is for you. What do you think?
Slot has a shinier head. That's the question. I think Slot's I think, yes, Slot definitely did go off Klopp. However, he did get them over the line, so I do give him some respect in that aspect. I definitely give him respect in the fact he won the Premier League. So yeah, but personally, I do think Slot's better, but I think he's having an absolute howler of a season, and I don't think he's shown anything other than last season. He's not shown he can kick on, but yeah, we'll see how he goes. I don't see him sticking around by the end of the season. I think he's going to get booted.
I actually, on a previous show I did about Liverpool, a Liverpool fan, who was it? I can't remember who it was. Said it to me. It's one of our regulars too. But a Liverpool fan said to me, they don't want to sack him mid-season. They reckon he's gone in the summer, but they don't want to sack him mid-season. And they reckon they've already got somebody lined up in the summer, which I think makes complete sense.
No, I agree with that. I think that's the case as well.
So, Ray, no, I don't think Erik ten Hag was better because his head was shinier. I just think he's better. Flossie can't find the video. I will try and find the link afterwards. I'll be honest, I have so many videos now and I talk about so many things in all of the videos. I'm just gonna have to look. It's out there. It's on the YouTube. It's on my auntie on WhatsApp. She calls it the WhatsApp. WhatsApp. So now when we say anything about like the YouTube, it's like it's just funny because bless her. Right. So next thing I want to ask you about, and I think there's one more thing I want to show you. But it's not a long one. This is more of a funny one. So first of all, we had, right, Callum Wilson is now a free agent. So this is on the 6th of January. Callum Wilson is now a free agent. West Ham have agreed to cancel a 33-year-old's contract early. Wilson scored 4 goals in the Premier League this season. Literally right after this, he played, scored. Everybody was like, I thought he was a free agent. I didn't even know he played for them anymore. And then if you scroll up, Callum Wilson on the 19th of January, Callum Wilson is set to stay at West Ham following his late winner at Tottenham on Saturday.
Yep.
As West Ham, this page called, West Ham and Wilson had started talks to terminate, but the former Newcastle striker is now expected to remain at West Ham. Celtic and Al Shabab, 2 clubs who have been exploring a move this winter. It was a wee bit...
Yeah, this was all over the place. It seemed very much set in stone that he was going. But he didn't even start the game that he scored. He came on late on in that game.
No.
I think because Fulkrug has been moved on as well. So I don't know if that's had some part in it that Fulkrug's got moved on. He ended up coming on, scoring a goal. Maybe he's like, do you know what? You're going to be now playing. It's such a weird situation, this, to me.
It was really funny, though, because like my whole Twitter timeline was like, I thought he was a free agent. I didn't even know he played for them anymore. And I was like, I thought me and Ash spoke about this.
No, literally everything came out saying that he's been let go as a free agent. And then I was watching the game and he comes on and I'm thinking, eh?
West Ham are moving like City. But yeah, I did. I just thought it was really funny. I was like, what in the name of God? Now, the last thing that we'll talk about, I keep saying the last thing, but there's so, look at all the things I had saved to talk to you about. But this is the one I want to, that was loud. Right. Hold on a wee minute. That was very loud. Right. I can show this because it's not Premier League footage. So I can actually do it. This is Johnny H's footage, and he doesn't mind people using it because he put it up on the internet. So watch as our coaches and medical team allow Lucas Bergvall to continue to play when he's obviously struggling, in pain and likely injured. He is injured. It has been come out that he's going to be off. He has a strain somewhere. He's out. So he is injured and is made to jump up and down on the sidelines, which is likely making it even worse. Why? Is it any wonder we have such a huge injury list? Some will say he wanted to play on, but when you're 2 up versus 10 men with the worst injury crisis, clearly not the worst as we've just discussed, but not good, what's best for the player and the squad? Also, Frank has been questioned so much recently. There's the comments from Romero come out saying that, you know, the whole of the club just is being run badly. There's question marks over at which point should the medical team have the final say, because the medical team can't sub him off. The manager has to do that. So at what point should we introduce, is it possible to introduce a rule where the medical staff go, do you know what? No, we medically cannot say that he's fit to play any longer. You have to take him off. So we're going to play the clip. It's 2 minutes, 38 seconds. I'm not going to play the whole clip. I just want to give you kind of a feel for the people who didn't see it. And then I want to ask your opinion on the 20 questions I've just asked. So.
A bad knock and a challenge. Sophie's all right. We can't afford for him to go off injured. Running it off.
Now, this goes on for quite some time, so I'm going to forward it a little bit to the point where I think this shows him jumping up and down on the sideline as well.
Oh,
now, so you can see he's looking. Now, I think at this point, see the way they're pointing, I think at this point they tell him to go down, because he's limping around, but he also hasn't gone down, which is on him. Because why hasn't he gone down, you moron? You can't even walk. Get down on the ground. So I think here, you can see they're pointing. I know you can't actually see what I'm pointing at. I'm pointing at my screen as if you can see it. Here, they're pointing. So I think they tell him to go down here. I'm not sure if it should go up. Oh no, Thomas Frank is telling him it's okay. There does come a point where they tell him to go down. So is it here? Have I gone too far?
Yeah, he's done.
Can you hear the commentary when I'm playing that?
Yes.
Right. So the commentator there, he's done. Right. So these boys come running on. Now, what I do think is actually what I will give them credit for. So they come on, right? They're treating him. He's clearly injured. He's very clearly injured, right? The referee is all up in his face.
It didn't look like he was shaking it off.
You just keep watching for what the medical staff does. This guy on the left.
I mean, I could see it.
He's like, can you get out of his face, please? He's injured. And so the referee walks around. He comes to the other side, tries to speak to him on this side in a little second, and the guy tells him to go away again.
I mean, to be honest, what is the referee doing?
I have no idea. Why is he in his face when he's receiving treatment, when he's clearly injured, right? Mental. But I thought, like, it's not that the medical staff are shrinking violets. He clearly said, go away, right? But what I would question is, at some point here, they bring him over. Have I passed it? And they have him like jumping up and down. Now, he's clearly telling them as he's walking there, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. You weren't fine 2 minutes ago, sunshine. He jumps up and down for a few minutes and then he runs back on the pitch. My thing is, he shouldn't have been allowed back on the pitch. They should have just said, no, he's not allowed. But so the game goes on and on and on and on and on, right? And then, like less than a minute later, here he is again. He has to go off because he's injured. Now, if I can find, let me see, does it? But this carries on. Look, here we are. There's another minute. No, like, this video is 2 minutes and 38 seconds before he's actually taken off the pitch, which is ridiculous. And he was limping like that for about 5 minutes before this video even starts. Absolutely mental. But if I can find, right, Tottenham Hotspur, we can confirm that Lucas Bergvall has today undergone surgery on his left ankle. The 19-year-old midfielder suffered a high ankle sprain during Tuesday's UEFA Champions League fixture against Borussia Dortmund. Lucas will now commence his rehabilitation with our medical staff. We're all with you, Lucas. Well, you weren't with him when you sent him back on the pitch. Were you?
Do you want to know something? That
yes.
This actually happened in the Newcastle game.
Mental.
This exact thing happened in the Newcastle game. Bruno got injured about the middle of the first half. He was limping for quite a lot. Mm-hmm. He also got a yellow card before this, which was close to being a red card. It was borderline his tackle. And then he got an injury, and he was struggling throughout the whole first half. And he just carried on playing. And he's not. He's been undergoing scans, and if he has an injury that's long term now, that's going to be a very big problem. Personally, I don't think it's going to be a long term injury because he came back from the back room. He came back to sit on the bench to watch the rest of the pitch. But the fact is, he was playing like 15 minutes or something with an injury. And
like you could see there at the start of that video how clearly Bergvall was struggling, like incredibly clearly. Now, what I will say is nobody can do anything on the sideline unless he goes down. If he doesn't go down, they can't do anything. The minute he goes down, and they tell him to go down, they run onto the pitch. But for me, he should be overruled. So who did I see? With somebody here, where did it go? Mr. Ojangwa is saying he himself said he's fine when he was treated on the sidelines, then he came back on the pitch and started star jumping. Right. But all players are going to say that. Bruno Fernandes would say that. We've all got players on our teams that would say, no, I'm fine. But at some point, the club, the medical staff, the manager needs to step in and say, you're not fine. You're not going back on the pitch. I don't care what you say. You can't walk. They need to. And I just think if Thomas Frank, if the manager is not prepared to make the call that clearly needs to be made, I think when it's a situation that's as clear as this, I think that, and we've spoken before, Ash, about the head injuries, like about the concussions. At some point, the medical experts, the people who know best, should be able to say, because they have to do it before a match, say this player is fit to play or not. So if something like this happens, serious, I don't mean for every injury, but it's serious when in a match like this, I think the medical staff should be able to say, this player cannot continue. It's negligence. It's medical negligence if we allow this player to continue. We are overruling you and he has to come off. And I don't mean for tiredness. I mean, this guy had to have surgery on his ankle. He clearly wasn't okay. So I think there has to be a point where they can step in. I'm going to run through the comments and then I'm going to go back to you because I know I sort of jumped in there a little bit. But I'm going to read this and then come back to you, and then I'm not going to interrupt you this time. Going to do my best. Wills is saying that's pure negligence. I agree. I think it is negligence, 100%. And I think that's the kind of thing that would make me mad at my manager. Wills wants to know what happened to the Magic Sponges. Yes, Streets. They were 2 up against 10 men. 2 up against 10 men, and they did this. Crazy. Flossie is saying, good Lord. Streets is saying foolishness. And yeah, we're all with you. I'm sure you are after you put them there. There we go. Flossie is saying when a player is clearly injured, don't ask if he's okay. Just get him off. Absolutely agreed. You're the boss. Act like it. Be the boss. Boss them around. Guest is saying players always say they're okay. I've seen a few with obvious head injuries say they're fine. Absolutely, 100%. Sometimes you have to take the decision out of their hands. So Ash, you give it a second bash. What do you think? Because I interrupted you the first time.
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of issues with the medical staff. Like, even just like I said, you saying this, it's like it's happened a few times at Newcastle. Like, we played against Barcelona earlier on in this season. Marcus Rashford booted the ball straight into Fabian Schär's face, and bro was playing for about 5 minutes more before he got taken off with a clear concussion. He tried to slide. Like, honestly, right? If you want to see something absolutely bonkers, watch the Newcastle Barcelona game and watch the second goal that Marcus Rashford scored. Watch what Fabian Schär does. Bro's trying to tackle a ghost. His head has no idea. He's not even seeing double vision. Bro's seeing about 5 different players. He's trying to tackle someone that isn't even on the pitch. Like, he thinks he's going for Marcus Rashford is, and they end up scoring. Like, and he should have been taken off for that. Yeah, he's broke his leg, walked off the pitch.
Rossi's right. Hold on a wee second. Rob, we're about to do the score predictors. Where are you going? Get back in here for score predictions. How very dare you? You'll be on the naughty step. But let me see. Maybe something's wrong because Flossie's telling him to take care. I mean, unless you can't, then we won't put you on the naughty step. But yes, Flossie, you go on, Ash.
To do with the broken leg, it's an interesting one because you have 2 bones in your leg.
Mhm.
If you break your shin bone, I think that's the tibia, and the fibula
I
is the
always
bigger
get
one.
them mixed up. I think the
I know,
fibula is the
same.
bigger one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is as well. I
Yeah.
should know. But if you actually break your shin, you can actually walk on that. It more or less just makes it harder for you to actually bend your foot up and down. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me, to be honest. They walked off the pitch. I very much am aware of this because I have snapped my leg in half. So I know what it's like. I try to walk on it as well.
No, not for me. Thank you very much.
No.
There's
Well, the thing
something
is because
I want
you
to
have so
show
much.
you.
This is why it needs to be more on medical staff, because when you have a serious injury, your body gets completely filled with adrenaline, and you don't actually realize some of the issues that have happened. So yeah, there needs to be more onus on medical staff to get players off.
Sorry.
I mean,
I'm not laughing at the broken leg. Paddy Power. If anyone ever sees Paddy Power on social media, they're a laugh. They're like what do you call them? Is it Aldi or Little Aldi? That's funny on social media as well. Whoever's on their socials is hysterical. So they have decided the Tottenham are a social experiment, and there is no other explanation. My ex is not linked, and I don't know, how do I see my username on X? It's just Spill the Tea, Lou. How do I? That's it there. At Spill the Tea, Lou. That's me on X. I've only got 45 followers over there. So if you want to follow me, please do. And I always put up when I'm going to go live over there as well. So that is it, Mohammed. Thank you very much for asking. And Streets is confirming the tibia is the bigger one. Wills is saying it's not funny. I think it's hysterical. But without further ado, people, I was going to laugh at us, but I don't think we have time. We'll just do it quickly, right? So let's very, very quickly. This was our score results last week. This is what we thought was going to happen. We thought all of these goals, we thought there was going to be 60 million goals. It was just, we had crazy thoughts, okay? We thought it was going to be mental. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I've lost the Premier League. Round 22. This was the actual scores. Ash, I think we might have overestimated the number of goals that we were expecting the teams to score.
No, this is a democracy. This is what the chat said. This wasn't anything to do with us.
We just facilitated. So I think now this week, week 23, I think we might have to be slightly more conservative in our guesses. And Streets is saying 4-2 City was diabolical. And we promised Streets, because he was the only person on the entire stream that did predict Manchester United to win against Manchester City. We told him he has free reign. So the only person who gets to predict Arsenal Manchester United is Streets. So Streets, give us your score prediction for Arsenal versus Manchester United. No pressure, but it's all on you.
And Streets, if you get this wrong, you don't get to predict. You don't get to play in the prediction for next week.
No, don't listen to Ash. He's not the boss. So Streets is going to be thinking hard. When Streets puts his lads, oh, I've nearly knocked Everton over. I've arthritis in my left knee, and it gets really, really, really sore. And just see, when I'm sitting still, it like starts to get quite bad. So I have to like stretch it out. But then when I move, I nearly knock the whole table off. Ray is saying pressure on Streets. Come on, Streets. My stomach is screaming for you. So you get your vote in, then we'll do the rest. And what I am going to do is I am going to put in my food order. So while Streets is thinking, I'm also going to be thinking about what I would like to eat.
Kebab.
I mean, I might be. How did you know?
I know. Come on, Streets. I want to see a zesty scoreline for this. I reckon, personally, I think it's going to be like a 1-0 or something, actually. Come on, Streets. What's he going to be? He's just going to keep us like sat here on the edge for like the next 10 minutes.
He's not, because see if he makes me any hungrier, I'm going to ban him.
Your food's in here.
What I'm going to do is remove his voting privileges and go and eat.
Yeah, this is the part where we actually find out he's just left the stream.
Oh, why did you say pizza, Marv? I do enjoy a good pizza. I really there's a chip shop just down from us, and it's just a chippy. They do unbelievable pizza, and they do the homemade garlic dip. It's unreal. Streets is gone. 2-1 United. It's locked in.
Okay,
so,
looks like you're not predicting next week.
2-1. All right. Okay, lads. Start getting your votes in for West Ham, Sunderland. Ash, you talk us through that one while I decide what I want on my pizza now, because I'm getting pizza. He said pizza, and now I want it.
It's going to be an interesting one because there's going to be no Luis Paqueta since there's been so many links about him going to Brazil. I don't think that deal's fully done yet, but yeah, it's he's got a back injury as well, actually, so that's why he's not going to be there. God, this is good. The thing is, right, Sunderland is absolutely amazing at home, not too good away. God, what's everyone? Marv comes in with a 3-1 Sunderland. Marv, that's crazy. I love how we were literally like, maybe we need to turn down our score predictions.
Yeah, we're predicting too many goals. So
instantly comes in with 3-1.
To be fair, it's Sunderland West Ham.
Sunderland's not going to score 3 goals.
Why not?
Because
they're getting all their players back now.
They've got an average of 1 goal a game.
He's toned it down to 2-1.
But bear in mind, right? They're undefeated at home. They're playing away, and they have 1 goal a game. They are not going to be being prolific scorers away.
What is your final score prediction?
2-1 West Ham.
2-1 West Ham. Ooh. Now, I think Sunderland's going to win, but I did a video on West Ham a while ago, and it was my favourite thumbnail I ever did. The colours were unreal.
I will say, away, Sunderland are 15th in the table. They've played 11 games and scored 5. That's
wow.
That's 1 goal every other game, and they've conceded 14. So,
jeez. Well, Ash,
does that change anyone's?
We are a democracy. So Jay has says 2-1 Sunderland. Marv has changed it to 2-1 Sunderland. Streets has been influenced and says 1-1. Guess reckons West Ham 2-1. Wills, have you put in a score prediction or just laughed at Streets? Get your scores in, man. So far, we seem to be 2-1 Sunderland. Streets, you are doing Streets. Ray is saying 1-0 Sunderland. So Ray is keeping the score low, but does still get.
I will say West Ham has actually conceded the most goals at home out of every other Premier League team this season.
Guess is saying we never listened to Lou and Ash during predictions. She's correct, because you influenced them to say Sunderland was terrible away, but West Ham were terrible at home.
But Sunderland don't score.
Wills is saying 2-1 West Ham, but Ray is saying West Ham are stinky. So Ash, can you count up the scores there and tell me which one is the most while I tell Marv? On my pizza, they do one that's like an all-meat pizza. So they put crispy bacon, pepperoni, chicken, and ham all on the pizza. It's unbelievable. Mohammed,
I am
Irish.
Huh? What did you say? Score prediction?
I think Sunderland 2-1. I agree with the two.
Okay. It was basically even up until then. So 2-1.
Oh, I was a tiebreaker. 2-1 Sunderland. Mohammed, I'm Irish. So just slightly to the left.
Yeah, Mohammed, get it to say Sunderland again. That's a great one.
Sunderland like a normal person. Sunderland, Funderland. It's totally normal. And guess not to tell the Italians about my pizza.
How do you say Zombieland? Zombieland. My God.
Zombieland, the movie. Zombieland. Disneyland, Ireland, England. Right, sorry, I've made everyone hungry. Sorry, guys. Burnley Spurs.
Everyone's going to go Domino's now.
Yeah, Domino's is suddenly going to get an influx of orders and be like, what happened?
Right, so Spurs.
Burnley, Spurs. And as we've just discussed, Spurs have some issues.
Spurs are currently second on the away team, though. Away form on the whole Premier League team.
Yeah, but Frank's under pressure. Romero's calling the board out. And their players are getting played injured. So they're a bit chaotic at the moment.
Yeah, but Burnley's shit.
I mean, that's true. True. Good counterpoint.
Like, Burnley's horrific.
They're really bad. They're big bad. I think they're worse than Wolves. Who said that?
I was going to say that
earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say that. No, I actually think they are worse than Wolves.
Yeah, I agree.
There was a table. I saw a table ages ago that was like predicted goals with like XG and everything, like a table based on that. And Burnley was actually last on it.
I think we might be unanimous here for the most part, to be fair, because we both think Spurs.
You think that Ray says 2-1 Burnley.
He does.
2-1 Burnley.
maybe I've done a hit job on the Spurs. Kate's going to be after me. Kate and Jimbo's going to be after me. If I'm not on the next stream, you know what happened. But I might have influenced people about Spurs.
I mean, it's
an influencer. Right.
It's currently even.
Oh, dear.
It's even. There's
Spurs are a draw, is it? Or Spurs are Burnley? What's even?
It's even between Burnley winning and Spurs winning.
Oh, did you count us?
Oh, no, I didn't. Then Spurs wins.
I think Spurs. I think it's going to be 1-0. I think it's going to be dross. Wills is saying 0-0. I can see that as well. I think 1.
I don't know. The thing is, Spurs are buying loads of players.
Yeah, but they're dross. I think 1-0. Right, what do you think? The Streets is saying they get lucky.
2-0.
Spurs?
Yeah.
Right, so...
You've got your main man in midfield. Conor Gallagher's going to be there.
Yeah, but Ash, we said we're going to tone down the scores. Yes, the real winner is me getting pizza.
I think 2-0.
Right, so will we go with 2-0? Does that seem kind of like the consensus? Should we go closer because the scores are quite even? Should we give Burnley a goal or no? I think no, but I will go with the chat as well.
Quite a few people in the chat have said 2-1, so yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's go with 2-1 then. Fulham, Brighton.
7-0. God, I don't know. Who's ahead? Fulham. Ooh.
Mohammed, we were just friends. I'm not deluded, and yes, we're going to kick your ass. Now, we just became friends, and then he called me deluded. Anyway, Ash, sorry.
I mean, it is why she is called Delulu, so you're not wrong there, Benny. I actually think Fulham's going to win this game. I think it's 3-1 Fulham.
3-1 Fulham. Is that because you don't want to say 2-1 again?
That was a part of it, yeah. Because I was thinking 2-1, but I was like,
I was thinking 2-1, and then I saw Wills's comment. I can't do any more 2-1s.
I was looking at the table and I was like, "There's 2 2-1s there," so I'm going to say 3-1. I do think it's going to be 2-1. But...
Well, the chat are going with 2-1 as well.
Yeah, everyone's
saying 2-1 Fulham. Jay is saying a draw. Marv is saying 2-1 Fulham. Wills is saying 2-1 Fulham. Do you know what it is? We're going with 2-1 Fulham.
Do you know
if we just put 2-1 for everything, some of them are going to be right.
Or none of them.
Or none of them. That's true. And Ray said 2-1. Everyone says 2-1. So,
Lou, you didn't say yours?
Oh, I said 2-1.
Oh, okay.
I reckon 2-1 Fulham. Yeah. Now, City Wolves.
This team, I am so unsure about predicted Man City. I have never been so unsure based on how they are. The problem is, right, they'll play absolutely piss shit against crap teams and then destroy us. I wasn't including
No,
Man
well,
United in that.
they gave us Liverpool and Arsenal a go. They've given all the big teams a go.
No, that's what I'm saying is they step up to bigger games. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They play better against better teams. So, they got smashed.
Oh,
They got
well, I
smashed
think
at
they're going to
Bodo
beat
Glimt.
City.
No, but wait,
I'm
doesn't
predicting a Wolves win.
potentially? I was just thinking, doesn't because Rodri got sent off in the Champions League, doesn't that carry over to the Prem, or is that just League?
No,
Cup?
I think
That's just
it's
leagues. I'm pretty sure. League
yeah,
Cups.
yeah. It's just the English cups. It doesn't
Yeah.
carry from Europe into the Prem.
I do think City's going to win this. To be honest, I think it is a very nice gesture what City did, giving the money back, refunding the fans for coming out to Bodo Glimt. It's nice that Haaland also came out and took the onus and said it's on him. The reason why he's not scoring, it's his fault. He took a lot of. I think this is the game they're going to score. I think it's going to be like 4-0.
Well, do you want to know? I'm going to show you something very quickly.
Although, granted, I said 4-1 last time.
Manchester City won 8 straight games before Rodri's return from injury. Since he came back, they've drawn 3 in a row, lost to Manchester United, and then were losing to Bodo Glimt and did then get sent off, and Rodri was sent off. So, the only time they won since he's come back was against you lot in the Carabao Cup, and he was on the bench. So I reckon, based on this, absolutely factual information, Wolves are going to win.
Yeah, but the thing is, what people aren't taking into account during that time, they've bought Semenyo, they've bought Mark Gahey. These are the players that are now going to be starting. So,
well,
Ray's been snorting pizza. He's not been eating it.
I've influenced him.
I think someone's got a mushroom or something stuck up his nose because he is waffling. Listen, if it's 4-0 Wolves, actually, yeah. I'm not even going to say anything.
No, because it might happen. Right. So let's see. Flossie. Let me see who started it. Yeah,
I would love a Wolves
Flossie
win.
start the scoring for that. Yeah, Flossie did because Ray went 2-0. Right. So Flossie went with 1-1. I think I might have skipped some. Right. Let's start here because this is definitely for this match. So Marv said 3-2 Wolves. Will says 3-0 City. God, Wills. Street says 3-2 City. Guest says 3-1 City. Marv says City's defence is crap. Guehi helps, but come on, Wolves. Wills would like to know how cold it will be because we know that's important to City. Streets has now changed his to 3-0 City. Marv said Wolves will channel their inner Bodo. Street says City will be back. Jay says 2-1 City. Flossie changed it and went 2-1 Wolves. Marv also believes in Wolves. Ray's gone 4-0. We need to manifest a Wolves win. Yeah, I reckon Wolves. I'm going with Wolves. 2-1.
In a week's time, I do not want a screenshot of this table and have me any part in this result. 4-0 Man City. I am not being partaken in this Wolves win. This ain't happening.
So your objection is noted, and we're gonna go with 3-0 to Wolves, with noting your objection. Now, Bournemouth Liverpool. Wait, what? I don't understand. A desperate Arsenal what? Wills, I need more than that because I forget. I don't know. I say lots of things and I don't know which bit that was. Bournemouth, Liverpool. Streets has got us started with 2-2.
I actually don't know. Bournemouth has been really shocking recently. Is the only thing. I do think Liverpool's going to win, but I could also see this being a 1-1 draw. I'm gonna say 2-1 Liverpool.
Really?
We'll get another 2-1 in, yeah.
Oh, it wasn't me. Oh, I see. People are chatting. Mohammed, Marv, and who did I say? The Desperate. It wasn't me. It was somebody else. I was like, what did I say? Right, but yes. So you reckon 2-1 Liverpool, even though you think it could be a draw. That's an interesting way to predict scores. I think Liverpool have been dross, and I think, what did Bournemouth do last week? Did they lose, win? Were they bad? I can't remember.
They drew 1-1 to Brighton.
That's not great, is it? Yeah, I also reckon maybe 1-1. I think maybe 1-1. I think they're dreadful.
I can see even a 1-1 or a 2-1 to Liverpool. Like,
right. Well, Streets is saying 2-2. Jay is saying 2-2. Ray saying 3-1 Liverpool. Guess is saying 2-0 or 3-0 Liverpool. Marv is saying 2-1 Liverpool. Slot Shiny Head for the victory. Wills is saying 3-1 Liverpool. Ray is talking about Salah changing momentum. Flossie is saying 2-0 Liverpool. A lot of people are going with nils. Mohammed is saying Liverpool have no chance. Mohammed, everybody knows ball, and just because people don't agree with you doesn't mean they don't know ball. We've spoken about this. We can disagree, but we have to do it nicely, and that's the end of it. No more insults. That's it. Guess is saying that she would take a 1-1 if it was on offer. Mohammed, I didn't ask you if it was banter. I told you to stop. So stop or I'll just remove you. It's very straightforward. So you reckon Liverpool. I reckon draw. What do we reckon? Guess, have you changed yours to draw? Or are you sticking with Liverpool win? And then we need to count them. Liverpool. What's our final tally for Bournemouth?
What are you accounting?
I was, and then I got confused. So I thought maybe you would do it. Guess is sticking with Liverpool win.
Yeah, it's a Liverpool win.
Okay. What are we going with? 2-0, 2-1? 2-1 again.
I actually think 2-1. I think that, but
yeah.
Bournemouth basically scoring most of their games, so.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be nil. I don't think Bournemouth won't score. Now, Wills went right in Crystal Palace and Chelsea 1-1.
Oh, God.
He reckons this is a draw all over it. Well, Crystal Palace have fallen off a cliff, and Chelsea.
They know how to wash their hands.
From Rossegno came in. I think they've been better. I actually reckon Chelsea win. I reckon Chelsea could win 2-0. I said nil, not 2-1, 2-0. Mental.
4-1 Chelsea.
4-1? Holy moly. All right, Ash.
Listen, I am not going to lie. Crystal Palace is in absolute disarray. They have got no idea what's going on. Flipping Glasner just wants to sell every single one of his players because he's pissed off. He doesn't want to be there. He's going to say, team, look, listen, I want to get sacked because I want to get a bonus right now. I want to be on garden leave for the rest of the season. Just go out and concede loads of goals. That's going to be his provocative for this game. 4-1.
Yeah, fair enough.
It might be Jean-Philippe Mateta's last game as well, so maybe he'll come out and get a goal at least.
Oh, well, he's demanding to leave this season, isn't he? Or this month.
The window, yeah.
Yeah. So Ray is saying 2-0 Chelsea. Streets is saying 2-1 Chelsea. Flossie is saying 1-0 Chelsea. Marv is saying 3-1 Chelsea. Crystal Palace are in shambles. Jay is saying 2-1 Chelsea. Guess is saying 1. It's unanimous for Chelsea. It is unanimous for Chelsea. So I think on that basis, we're going to give Chelsea 3 because it's so unanimous. Did a lot of people say 1 or are we going 0? You reckon Mateta gets a final goal. So we'll go with 1. Now, Brentford, Forest.
Ooh.
Well, Dyche is under a bit of pressure because they went out. They had the worst ever minute. The worst minute in European football that you can have. Where did it go? Where did it go? So, hold on, I'll show you this. A nightmare minute for Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche's side suffer a 1-0 defeat away to Braga. In the 53rd minute, Morgan Gibbs-White misses a penalty. And in the 54th minute, Ryan Yates scores an own goal. So with that in mind, what do we reckon?
And also, that was the game Anderson got sent off for for saying something to the referee.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it's not going well at the moment.
The thing is, Forest are quite good in defence. Brentford 1-0 Brentford.
Okay, very sensible. So, Ray said 0. Does he mean 0-0? He might mean 0-0. Streets reckons it's going to be stinky. But says 2-0 Brentford. Jay says 1-1. Guess is saying 2-1 Brentford. Wilsey is saying Streets 2-0, or he's with Streets 2-0 Brentford. Ray 2-0 Brentford. Flossie 2-0 Brentford. Gav is back in the house. Gav, get a prediction in. Brentford Forest. You're back on track. Marv is saying 2-0 Igor Brace. So it's pretty unanimous for Brentford. I want to see what Gav is going to say, but it's pretty unanimous. I'm just curious. 2-0 Forest, obviously, because our Gav likes to be different. So on that note, we're going to go with Brentford. Most of them seem to say 2. I would say, considering they're also in disarray, it could be 0. It could be 0. Lads, the pizza is here. We've 2 scores left. The pizza has arrived. Newcastle, Aston Villa. I'll go first. 2-2. Now, everybody else, type as fast as your little fingers can carry you. Well, Ash mulls it over.
Banjay now.
You and Jay seem to have that dynamic.
Blasphemous, that is.
Everyone else is afraid to put in a score prediction down with you.
Banjay, who else is getting banned?
Ash, stop avoiding the question. Give us a score prediction. I know what you're up to.
3-1 Newcastle.
Okay, Ash's 3-1 Newcastle. What did I say? 2-2? I think that's about right. I think there is goals in this game. Jay says 3-1 Villa. Ray says 2-1 Villa. Streets is with me 2-2. Gav says 4-3 Newcastle. The water meter to score 2. I think that's Volta Messi. Marv is saying NUFC at home has a real shot. 2-2 draw. Guess is saying 2-1 Newcastle.
Look, we are
saying 2-1 to the Toon.
We're a complete different team at home. We've only this season we've only lost to Liverpool, Arsenal, Barcelona, and Man City. They're the only teams we've lost at home to.
Mm-hmm.
What are you laughing at?
I didn't say you're going to lose. I said a draw. I'm just listening to you. And Wills has come in and said 2-0, away the lads. Is that right? I'm learning. So I do think, right, so how many is that? Ash, can you count them? Because
I don't need to count. 3-1 Newcastle. That's what it comes out to.
it might do.
Yeah, Jay, we also were the better team when we were away at Villa Park and we drew 0-0, and that was without a striker. I agree with what you're saying. However, they're on a little bit of a decline and we're on an ascendancy. We're on a good run of form, especially at home.
Newcastle are winning. It seems to be 2-1 or 2-0. Well, I think Villa will definitely score. So we'll go 2-1. Now, last, possibly least, Everton leads. Jack Grealish is out. Grealish is out for like 3 months or something. He hurt himself. He's sore. Here, I'll show it to you. Share this tab. It is understood. I don't know. Romano put this out. It's understood Jack Grealish will be out for 3 months with stress fracture, or fracture's a break, on his foot. 12 weeks out for Everton star as tests made today confirm long break and major blow for Everton.
Yeah, so, it is.
On this basis, I reckon Leeds are going to win. I reckon Leeds are going to win 3-0.
Interesting. They're gonna have players back from AFCON as well. Like, was it James Garner? He's been really good over the past.
He signed a new contract today.
Yeah, he's been absolutely sensational. I can't even lie. But with all that being said, 2-2 Desmond.
Holy moly, okay. Ray is saying 0-0. Marv is saying 2-1 Leeds. Gav is saying 2-2. Streets 2-1 Leeds. J 4-2 Leeds. Guess is 1-0 Everton. Flossie is saying 2-0 Leeds. And Streets, Streets says 2-1 Leeds. So it's primarily Leeds, is it?
I will say this. Leeds on the away form. They have 1 win in 11 games away. They score basically 1 goal a game, and they concede basically 2 goals a game.
Yeah, but I don't think Everton are scoring. I just don't see it. No, they're all going to be sad about Jack's sore foot.
That's going to be what's upset them.
Yeah. Right. Well, the chat is unanimous, despite your best efforts. Leeds are the winning.
Marching on together.
I am going to go with Flossie, and we're going to go with 2-0 to Leeds. We're going to calculate. I can smell the pizza. I can smell it. So, if we are correct, which is highly unlikely,
I mean, this is not This is not highly unlikely. This is not happening. Look at what score you put for the Man City game. This is these predictions are. This is not coming true. Yeah.
I forgot we put that. Yeah, but Ash, do you know what? It could happen. Either way, it looks like Arsenal are going to win the league. United potentially might get a Champions League spot. Yous lot are climbing.
Wait, Lou, that's not. That's, press it again. That's not changed, has it? Oh, wait.
Yeah, pick calculate.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, sorry. I was thinking, why the hell haven't Man City and Arsenal changed points? And
I was like 47 plus 3 is 50. So Ash has lost it, but it's okay. We're here to help him, people. It's fine. It's totally fine. But essentially, Wolves would be getting close to Burnley, which would be unbelievable. Crystal Palace would be continuing their drop-off. Newcastle would be above Sunderland. And Aston Villa would be in the top 6. The big 6. Arsenal, yeah. The less said about them, the better. So this is what our league could look like. Don't get too comfortable because it's unlikely to last. It's unlikely to actually look like that. What I will just say, Mohammed asked me a question here in the chat. Hi Lou, do you support a team locally? My granddad, over 65 years ago, I think it's probably about 68 years now, founded a local football club. So the answer to that is yes. But I just wanted to answer that. Gav is saying Wolves will cause City loads of problems and he hopes Haaland has another stinker. But without further ado, people, I'm going to eat some pizza. Thank you very, 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 very much for joining. Smash a like if you haven't done so already. We will be back next week, obviously. I am going to be on Fire Them Cannons tomorrow with Cal and Anton, both Arsenal fans, to discuss the match. And I am going to bring the level of Delulu that Anton deserves. So I hope he's looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. I'll be back on Monday with a secret surprise special guest that's not Flossie this time. So lots of things happening all over the place. Smash a like. Go order a pizza. Enjoy your evening. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Oh, Ash will be in the description also. So click his button.